Okay, we've got green lights everywhere, so I'm assuming we're up and running. So welcome, guys. Welcome. This is episode 12 of ChatTactic for 2025. Today we're going to be, we've got a giveaway today, actually. We've got a giveaway of Distant Worlds 2, which was kindly donated, actually, by a viewer last week. And I forget the viewer's username, but it's Chris. There we go. We've doxed you, Chris. But it's, yeah, thank you for that. I do really appreciate that. So great giveaway today for Distant Worlds 2. And so that will be the actual giveaway. I will show you to Distant Worlds. I normally start off by showing you that one. Hi, Mike. How you going? Yeah. So if whoever gave the key is watching, yeah, thank you. I can't remember the username, but I've sort of been looking for it. So Mark's you saying that's a great giveaway. If I will, you can give it away next week. If you win, you can give it away next week. Okay. Yes. So there's Chris, and there we've got Jerry saying afternoon, Daz, everyone. So hi, hope everyone is doing well. Let's just start off with Distant Worlds 2 and just sort of show the giveaway for today. Just go and open this one up, and Distant Worlds 2. Really loving this game at the moment. Absolutely, just it's. I'm playing it. Actually, maybe what I should have done is actually opened up the game itself. I'll just close that up. That should then appear down here somewhere. No, it hasn't. That's good. Anyway, it's sort of funny because it sort of gravitates back. Oh, it's back to under 80% in here now. But it's you can see the more recent views are sort of now hovering around 80%. The game for me should be up in around the 90%, like 85 to 90 is sort of where I think the game should be. But it's one of my favourite games of all time. I absolutely love it. So Jerry's saying, saw you playing Endless Legend 2 yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, though. Thought opinion compared to Age of Wonders 4. I'm going to do a very deep dive into Endless Legend today. In fact, probably most of this episode will be about Endless Legend 2. And just to let you know, I am not impressed. So I will actually go through and talk about it, which is sort of unusual because every other video you see online, what I've seen anyway, is gushing about how good this game is. It's really not that good. It's okay. It's just an okay game. But I'll go into that in detail. Anyway, that's a bit of a spoiler alert of where I sort of end up with it. But I've been really racking my brain is why do all these other streamers think it's just such an awesome game? And I will open that up as well and have a bit of a look at that one. But that will be... yeah, Matthew's saying, hi Daz, have you recovered from the Endless Legend 2 playthrough? No, not well, sort of. I did rant a bit sort of privately about it. But anyway, I will go through that in detail. And I've been trying to be sort of thinking, okay, how do I, I'm going to try to be very objective about it, because I know that a lot of you will really like it, but a lot of you probably won't. So anyway, let's just go through and we'll do that when we get there. Hi Hugh David, how are you going? And ZXM, hope you guys are all doing well. Matthew's laughing. So Jerry's saying, I personally could not get into Endless Legend 1 myself, so could relate. Yeah, well, wait, let's talk about Distant Worlds. We'll go straight into Endless Legend, I think. I also want to talk about Commandos. Like, I've been doing some sponsored streams for them, and it's like this is not a sponsored part of that. But I'm really impressed with that game. Like, it really impresses me. It's one of those things where it does more things in it than I like that pleasantly surprised me. That I think they've gone above and beyond. Like with what they've done with Commandos, and yeah, it's I'm finding it incredibly enjoyable. So I wanted to talk about that as well. But so we got a what I consider to be a really good game. We've got what I consider to be a mediocre game, which we'll talk about. But then, of course, we've got the best of Distant Worlds 2. Look, as I said, one of my favourite games of all time. So we're going to be giving away Distant Worlds 2. And I'm sort of playing this one at the moment on my, basically on Worldly Wednesdays. So I'll continue on playing that one. I think until I end up with something that's like another space game that I can then sort of get my teeth into. And I do want to, on Worldly Wednesdays, like I've got Fortress Fridays for Dwarf Fortress. I'm thinking of changing that to Fantasy Fridays, but I'm not sure yet. Because I sort of want to have like an avenue of being able to do like a long series, like and finish off a game, but then not be tied down to that game. So that's why Worldly Wednesdays, instead of it being Distant Worlds Wednesdays, it's Worldly Wednesdays for Space 4X, and it's and I'm thinking I'm not sure about Fortress Friday, whether we change that to Fantasy Friday and then still continue on doing Dwarf Fortress, but maybe then sort of switch that out and do something different every so often as well. But I'll think about how we do that one. I'll sort of I've got to. I know that there's a lot of people who do like Dwarf Fortress, but then the videos, I haven't really looked at the stats on those videos actually, but I don't think that they do as well as I would have hoped. But anyway, we'll the idea was to find a way to sort of do it on a regular basis, and I do enjoy playing it. But I also enjoy playing Age of Wonders 4, for example. So I'd love a way to shoehorn that into to that same sort of equation. Anyway, we've got so Distant Worlds. I'll show you the game that I've got. Actually, I'll just open her up. And actually, do I need to do that? I don't think I need to do it. I covered Distant Worlds so much on the channel. Let's get into the. Keep the themes broad, says Major Swifty. Yeah, I think so. I think it sort of makes more sense. So let's go and have a look at. Let's open up the Steam page first for Endless Legend 2, and then we'll just do a really deep dive into the actual game itself. And it's sort of funny because I was really looking forward to this. And I was looking forward to it for two different reasons. The first one is Hooded Horse has come in as a publisher, which I thought was like they've got some great games. So I got the preview key through Hooded Horse, so do thank them for that. They're probably not going to like what I say about what my experience with the game was, but anyway, that's sort of where they were. It's only coming soon at this stage, but I'm assuming it must be sort of soon into early, and I'm hoping it's just early access. The devs do seem to be responsive, but to be honest, by looking at the actual the way that all the videos that I saw, because I was thinking, I don't normally watch gaming videos all that much, to be honest. I tend to watch history or something like that, but I was thinking, what am I missing? Because I'm just really not getting I'm not feeling the love of this for this game. It's it really was a bit of a snooze fest for me, like the way it sort of did play, and I was trying to think, okay, well, what aspects are great about Endless Legend 2? And there are some very good things that Endless Legend 2 does, but is that enough to carry the game? I don't know if it is. So we'll talk at that. We'll open it up and have a bit of a look at it as well. So the mate, we might. I don't know if we start here or start with the actual game itself, because I do actually have the preview build of it about the game. Maybe we'll go through all of the about the game stuff. Endless Legend 2, it's a fantasy strategy game where you lead wildly varied factions. That's not my opinion. Maybe each faction is different, but the actual number of units you get is very minimal. So like it's sort of like that for me was another problem, was just the lack of variation within the factions themselves. You can sort of enhance them with additions and so on and so forth, but I found it all a bit boring, to be honest. The whole aspect of actually even adding other factions, I didn't notice that they were really doing much that was solid to the actual to the experience with the armies. I'll try to separate it out into different areas so we can talk about it, but I'll just do a bit of a summary as we come across this. There are certainly, they have different focuses, each faction. There's only two that we've got to play with at this point in time. As we built grand empires and waged planet-spanning wars on an ever-evolving ocean world at the brink of extinction. Now, I was worried that was going to be preachy about, sort of like climate change, but it's actually not. This is actually a really good mechanic. So I've got to say the ever-evolving ocean world is really good. Like that's a very clever way to actually expose more land. And so that's the mechanic there, is actually to allow you to keep exploring all the time, which I think is very clever. So for me, that's the one massive innovation in the game, is the way that they've actually handled the monsoons, essentially, which then allow the water to recede and new land to then form, which then allows you to then start your exploration phase. You kickstart your exploration phase again at that point. just start to sort of move across. Cataclysmic events have wrought havoc on the natural order, and the very world will change as time goes on, revealing new opportunities for exploration and conquest to the bold and daring. Yes, and that for me is probably the one big area that this game does innovate, and so I think that like that mechanic there is top notch. Like that is really, really clever. So establish expansive cities to spread your influence and strengthen your economy. Now let's talk about that as well. So we'll maybe just focus on every single one of these little points. Establish expansive cities. This is also where the game really does a good job. Every single tile or district or whatever you want to call it in the actual game itself, you can see there in this GIF file where it's sort of you can see there's portions of it where it shows the massive city. The placement of your districts and the way that they've actually then enhanced district placement away from Endless Legend 1 is also really, really nice. So I've got to sort of say that I do appreciate just the that for me is where the strategy of the game is played, is actually just how you manage your city. So for me, I think if you like city builders, and expanding and trying to plan out what district is going to give you what sort of return, like depending on what you build on it, then you're going to love this game. So I think that's being fair about it. That's actually where I think that the people who enjoy city building and enjoy the strategy of trying to find the best spot will really, really love this aspect of the game. Like it's done very, very nicely. It still uses the FIDSy system, which is what they've always used, and I don't like it, to be honest. I don't like the FIDSy system. I like the idea of it, but I don't like I don't like dust. I just don't like the word dust. So I'm sort of when I started getting pissed off playing the game, because I did get pissed off when I was actually live streaming it. And the game was shitting me off basically as I played it, because I'm not really into city builders all that much, not like this. So that aspect doesn't really do much for me, but I can see that being a solid aspect, for the game. So that's another positive for the game itself. Anyway, we'll go through all of these different things. So expansive cities to spread your influence and strengthen your economy. Yes, that is if you enjoy planning and figuring out the best tiles and all that sort of stuff, and what district you can build on a certain tile, you will love this game. So I can sort of say that, I think, categorically. Raise armies and command troops in turn-based tactical battles to overcome your enemies by force. What a yawn fest that is. This is where the game really, for me, becomes just so bland. It's just such a bland system that they've got. And again, it's very much just like Endless Legend 1. So it's not really a something that's going to be all that interesting to like the way, from what I saw, it's there's nothing clever about it. And I guess there's like I was Lucid Tactics actually, we've just got a bit of a chat that we're sort of talking about different things, and he was mentioning like other games, and I'd forgotten about Warlock. The game Warlock does that aspect so well, like so well, playing on the actual overworld with your combat. If you haven't seen Warlock is a game now that's fairly old. It's actually an old Paradox game. I would love them to remake a Warlock 3. But Warlock is again one of those great games. I mean, with reservation, maybe I'll even talk a bit about Warlock, because what Warlock does in the same sort of style of actually having your combat on the overworld is on the main battle world, is rather than going into a tactical map. It does it so much better, and it's such an old game now with that one through there. But I think that's actually when Lucid mentioned Warlock, I'm thinking, that's really cool. Actually, that's the game that you could compare this game to in terms of combat system. Warlock is very, very old now in comparison, but still holds up. Like, it's a great game. And so in that sense, the turn-based tactical battles are a real snooze fest, and they're very, very shallow. So if you're not into tactical combat now, and I am, like I know that, like when I get these sort of games, I love to see actual tactical combat, and so there's a whole lot of other games coming out at the moment that I'm interested in because I'm wondering if the tactical combat will be up there, and so with there's like there's I mean I don't know this even games I don't think I'm allowed to talk about. So, oh no, I am allowed to talk about it. There was actually an announcement as well, which I should put in the title if I can shoehorn it in there, which was Stormbringers, which is like a remake of Heroes of Might and Magic. And so the Heroes of Might and Magic system of combat I find really bad as well. So, so I'm interested to see what Stormbringers does. It does better than what the original Heroes of Might and Magic does, but it's I don't like the aspect of building up numbers and then you lose your numbers as you fight. It's sort of I don't know, like it's for me, the Age of Wonders system, and it's been like that for a long period of time, is superior to any other tactical combat game, like a turn-based tactical combat game. I just find the nuance that you can do within Age of Wonders is exceptional. And then, of course, you've got your tabletop games, like your Field of Glory type games and stuff like that, which are sort of different again, but also work very well. And you've also got auto battlers as well, which, like you, and again, the games that I immediately went to when I was playing Endless Legend and thinking about combat was Age of Wonders. And I think if you play Age of Wonders and you enjoy the tactical combat in Age of Wonders, you're not going to enjoy this game. You're not going to like it at all. It's way too simplistic. Master of Magic, if you played either the original or the remake, I think you're going to find that the combat, that's got very simple combat, but that is better than this as well, like the way that sort of works. And that the reason that Master of Magic is better than this one, and Master of Magic does have very simple combat, is because of the plethora of different units that you actually then have under your control. And so the balance of the forces you bring to a battle matter in Master of Magic. They don't really matter. They do matter, but it's sort of like you don't have a real lot of choice in this game. So from what I could sort of see, like and it's sort of and to be honest, I got so pissed off with it, I stopped playing it after a short period of time. So I didn't follow this through to fruition. I think if I had have done, I think I would have been. I mean, I can see that the cities are going to be impressive, even though I didn't really get into them all that much. But I can see that being a major plus. But not the armies and the combat were real. I can't see that being a major feature of the game, to be honest. And that was a shame. I was really looking forward to that. And push forth into the unknown to uncover the dark secrets that lie at the planet's core. Okay, if they're talking about the quest system, I found that really boring as well. It was very verbose. It was done in the same way that Battle for Westnorth was done, like essentially where you've got like where you've got different characters that talk at each other. They sort of they expand up, and you can sort of see the conversation going on. Like I really get super bored with that. And I noticed because I did look at the other videos, thinking, what are these other streamers seeing in this game that I just am not seeing? And people seem to be really engaged in the quest system as well. I'm thinking it's the same quest every single time you play it, almost. Like it's just exactly the same. And so I found that really boring. Like from a I don't tend to like quests, to be honest, particularly when they're structured, and particularly when when they come at a certain time, and it's the same bloody quest for each faction at the same timing, and I just I just don't need it, So for me, that's I find that quest system lazy as well. So just and I'm probably being more scathing about that than anything. But anyway, that's where I think that the game does itself people seem to really like it, except for me. But I just don't like the quest system in this game. That's what pissed me right off. Actually, was I was in the middle of a quest and then suddenly it failed. Now I've got to say that's probably just a bug in the game. The one that actually failed, that did piss me off though, and it pissed me off more than I thought it would. Like I actually got really shitted off. Like it was almost rage quit time for me, which. Yeah, so Super Doggy saying Dom 6 says hold my beer. Yes, the auto battlers, and this one's not an auto battler. So, but you think about the degree of preparation for a game like Dominions. You really spend a lot of time sort of building up the Dom 6 style of play, the plethora of different forces, how they use, how they mesh. It's chalk and cheese when you've got a game like this, which is just so simplistic with the combat. It's sort of, so for me, the combat is really a problem. And Matthew Logan saying you can't go wrong with Age of Wonders 4 or Dom 6, absolutely. But when Lucid did mention Warlock, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a really good comparison. Like the difference between Warlock and Endless Legend. I'm like, to be honest, with the preview that I've got, even though Warlock is now such an old game, I would much prefer to be playing Warlock. Like much prefer it than Endless Legend 2 at this stage. Now that may change. I do want to give the game another go to see if I'm missing something, because I feel like with so many other people actually being so positive about this game, I feel like in one sense it's. From those who have played it, I know that there's some people who don't like it, but by far the most of them think it's going to be the best fantasy game of all time. It's not. It really isn't. It's going to be middle of the road, in my opinion. Anyway, let's have a look. Lead disparate factions. Actually, one thing I will say before we go too far into it. The user interface is unbelievably good, but we always knew that was going to be the case because Amplitude does user interface, and they always have, extremely well. So I was thinking, is that what people, is that smoke and mirrors of the user interface? And that's not a good term to use. If the immersion and the design and the way that the interface actually just sort of presents you with good information, if that is the reason that people are actually enjoying the game, then that's different again as well, because it is beautiful. Like the game is actually a beautiful game. The user interface is incredibly good, and so I would top notch. It's top notch user interface. But it's not innovative, it's just really well done. And again, I saw other videos with people saying that the whole hover over tooltips and then lock them in and stuff like that is great. Look, that's been around now for a few years. Like Stardock and also Paradox have been doing that for quite some time with their games. So it's where you expect tooltips to be now. It's not a new thing, but it's still nicely done. But so the user interface, major positive about that one. But then when often like you see UI/UX, like as in user interface/user experience, and user experience is sort of one of those interesting things where and I think about games, for example, like Distant Worlds. Distant Worlds has got is an incredible game with incredible depth to it, but it gets in its own way because of the user interface/user experience. So the user interface stops the user experience from being enhanced, and so and they're working on that. So Distant Worlds 2 will actually get better and better with their user experience. Galactic Civilizations, another classic game where about halfway through its current development of Gal Civ 4, the focus really shifted from game mechanics into user experience, and to try to sort of make it so that it becomes much more holistic, and it works because the game mechanics are there, and Distant Worlds the game mechanics are there. In Gal Civ, the user experience has caught up with the game mechanics, meaning that the user interface is linking all that stuff together. So, but with Endless Legend, the problem I have with that is that you end up with a great user interface, but not the game mechanics to carry it. So the user experience, so the UI, the user interface is beautiful and really well done, but the underlying mechanics on the other side are poor or weak. And so the user experience for me is still diminished because of the mechanics, not because of the interface. Whereas for other games like Distant Worlds, I hope that makes sense. Distant Worlds, the mechanics are incredible, like absolutely amazing, but the user interface needs to catch up. And so for the user experience to come together, you can save a game with great mechanics and poor user interface, but can you save a game with poor game mechanics and but with great UI. And I don't know, like I don't know how they've fixed the combat. To be honest, it's sort of already they're too far down that road, in my opinion. So that's sort of where I do actually have a big problem about it. You know, it's essentially a that for me is the combat. I find it really is boring. Like from what I can sort of see in the game, unless there's something that really changes, but I just can't see it. But as I said, when Lucid had mentioned the Warlock, I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably really the best comparison because it's the most similar in terms of combat, and Warlock does it so much better. So anyway, let's push on into the other bits and pieces. Lead disparate factions. So whether you command righteous warriors descended from the stars or hive-minded aliens that know how to fight, feed and propagate, Endless Legend 2 features vastly different factions, each driven by their own philosophies. See, this is actually where, again, I'm going to pull this apart sentence by sentence. When you command righteous warriors descended from the stars, now these are the two. This is one of the type of faction. Now the factions really are uniquely different, like in the sense of what they do. But the trouble is you've got very, very few units to use. So you've got like at the start of the game, you've got like a basic infantry, and you've got like a basic scout unit when you play as this descended from the stars group. The hive mind, I'm not sure which faction that actually is, but I don't know. It's sort of they don't know how to feed, fight, and propagate. Endless Legend 2 features vastly different factions, each driven by their own philosophies, histories, capabilities, and narratives. That's very true. Again, look at those key words: philosophies. So histories, capabilities, and narratives. We're really looking at high level stuff, not low level combat stuff. We're looking at the again. Written immersion. We're looking at some bonuses here and there. We're looking at stuff that's easy to implement in terms of I don't know if that's making sense. But when you're talking about philosophies, histories, who cares? Really, who cares? And when you do compare it to a game like any other game, like if we compare it to Warlock too, Warlock has got. Philosophies, not really. Who gives a shit? Histories, who gives a shit? Capabilities, yes, that's big in Warlock. Narratives, who gives a shit? Like basically all the three of the four there. When you look at Warlock, which in my opinion is actually does a better job of the combat. It just comes down to the capabilities of the faction. That's really all that. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So like if you're playing, in my opinion, if you're playing a 4X strategy game, each of the factions has unique traits that set them apart from one another, whether on battlefield, in matter of commerce, or with regards to empire building. It comes down to tweaking numbers. So that's sort of what it works out as, or in diplomatic affairs. And again, I'm thinking, am I being overly harsh about this? And I really don't think I am. Like it's sort of, and again, when I compare it to Age of Wonders 4, I mean, Age of Wonders 4 is another good comparison, although that one does go to a tactical map. Age of Wonders 4, I think, is the pinnacle of the tactical combat in Fantasy 4X games. In terms of turn-based combat, just because of the of all the combination of what you can do. The facing is important, for example, in Age of Wonders 4, things like that. Whereas in this case, it's really just move in and fight. So it's not engaging for me. But again, if you're someone who doesn't like the combat in Age of Wonders 4, and I know there's a lot of you that are in that category, you may love this game. So because there's so much else that this game does well. Again, if you like cities, you're going to love it. If you like, if you don't like Age of Wonders 4 combat, you're probably going to enjoy it. I don't want to dumb it down, like in the sense that because I know that there are people who just really don't like the combat in Age of Wonders 4, even though I think it's incredible. But anyway, let's continue on. It's up to you to adapt to the strengths and weaknesses and build strategies and distinct playstyle. So the choice of faction will influence every aspect of the game. You prefer to benefit from a constant state of fighting, untethered by the need to justify your wars, spawning additional warriors with each victorious battle to grow endlessly in strength, or will you choose to benefit from cohabitation and cooperation, spreading tendrils of influence throughout the world? I can see people getting into this aspect, I don't know. It's leveraging relationships with the minor factions of the planet to further enrich your empire. I found that was disappointing. Like, I know that, again, when I saw some of the other videos, people are saying, oh, this is awesome, it's so much better than Endless Legend 1. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing it's the same, basically the same, with some slight improvements than Endless Legend 1. So learn what makes each faction distinct and use it to your advantage, whether you're leading them or looking to destroy them. Yeah, it's a ho-hum for me. Like, really this whole aspect, because the combat is so simple, the factions, the actual factions that you end up getting, like these independent factions, have to then actually have simple units, which means that your units have to be simple, and so everything is just simple in terms of combat. I'm probably focusing too much on combat, but for me, these games, they live or die based on combat. So military doctrine varies greatly between the factions, providing unique opportunities for a capable commander to gain an advantage over their foe, even when out of combat, whether you're building massive fortifications as the kin of Sheridan to defend your cities, establishing connections to powerful weapons and support systems awaiting in orbit, or you're investing in the spread of coral that allows your units to, spiritual aspects to support themselves. Again, this is not... so military doctrine. How do they call that military doctrine? Providing unique opportunities for a capable commander to gain an advantage over their foe. It's just numbers. Again, we're looking at numbers. We're not looking at strategic placement. We're not looking at winning on the field through strategy or through tactics, through the tactics of what's going on. It's all higher level stuff, which again I get bored with it. That's why, like, if I'm playing a city builder, I want to at least have an army that I can then go and do stuff with. I immediately thought, Dwarf Fortress is not like that, but Dwarf Fortress is not a city builder. Dwarf Fortress is something very, very special. So either auto-resolve combat or take direct control of individual units within your armies when battle begins, using the surrounding terrain to your advantage to seek out choke points, cover, and high ground. Apart from having faction-specific units, traits, weapons, and attributes, each faction also features special battlefield abilities that can turn the tide of battle if properly utilised. Wow, it sounds awesome! Where one faction might work best with a patient commander able to meticulously manoeuvre troops to secure powerful adjacency bonuses, others might rely on force of numbers and overwhelming strength. Look, it's much simpler than that. It's so much simpler than this. Anyway, I've already spoken about that. Recruit heroes and watch them grow over time as they gain new traits to bolster their abilities, build relationships, and provide them with various boons, and acquire equipment both useful both in and out of battle. Powerful commanders, properly trained and armed, can turn the entire tide of entire wars when wisely utilised. The command system is good. It's not terrible like the hero system. I'll start reading a few of the comments here, guys. I've actually let things rage on for way too long. So I'll just go right. I just have to. Wow, there's been a lot of comments. I'll just go back because we've been covering a lot of stuff. What did we get up to? Matthew's saying it felt a bit soulless, trying to be different for the sake of it, when the wacky universe and races with their little substance to back it up, and all those text boxes. So so Matthew, I think you're talking about Endless Legend 1 maybe, or Endless Legend 2. But yeah, I'd like to be honest, I prefer my fantasy factions to just be standard old Lord of the Rings factions, and I've got to also keep that in mind. Like, I actually I can appreciate the thought that goes into the lore of the world with the different factions, but it's just like they're not like you don't have your typical factions, whereas in Age of Wonders 4 you do. And so, and again, I'm thinking, is that why I like Age of Wonders 4 so much? And also, look, to be honest, in Warlock you have as well. Warlock 2, you have the different factions, like the standard fantasy tropes, which I like, and I like them because you know what you're getting right from the start. Now, Endless Legend 2 will ultimately have what was my favourite faction in the game, which is essentially the undead. It's not an undead. It's a French take on undead, which is interesting. Like, so it's actually not just your standard skellies, moving around with their. Typically, like it's much more nuanced, and when I say the French take on fantasy and that sort of stuff, I'm not being negative about that in any sort of way. I actually really appreciate. I love watching the higher thought process that goes into often French or romance type takes on fantasy, and I'm thinking of like Pan's Labyrinth and things like that. It's just really, they become, it's really quite special the way that they sort of handle those, where they elevate the fantasy tropes that we have from Lord of the Rings, and do a really, really good job of that. And then you look at the what Amazon Prime did to Lord of the Rings itself, and how they butchered the standard fantasy tropes. You know, like it's sort of it's chalk and cheese. So yeah, much appreciate the European approach to elevating those tropes than the Amazon Prime approach. Anyway, let's not go in and bash Amazon Prime. They do have some good shows. I think Reacher is on Amazon Prime if I remember rightly. So anyway, let's continue on. So Major Swifty is saying, I really liked Endless Space, never got into Legend. See, that's another. I hated Endless Space. Hated Endless Space too. For the simple reason they did such a shit job of combat. Combat is so terrible in that game. But the one thing that saves that game, and when you have a look at it, imagine that game without the graphic design. Okay, imagine Endless Space without the design in it. You end up with a very, very, very basic game, like an extremely basic game. And you've sort of got that here as well with Endless Legend 2. Take the graphic design out of it, and the actual game mechanics for me don't really stack up. They're quite simplistic. And Endless Space was exactly the same for me. It was not engaging at all. I remember looking at it the first time I opened up Endless Space and thought, wow, what a great game. Like, as in the way it looked. And then the more I played it, the more bored I got with it because the game mechanics just weren't there. And like back at that stage, I was sort of often talking with Amplitude and just and giving feedback about like how the combat was just terrible. In the end, I just had to stop playing it because it was just such a boring game. And so Endless Space for me is even worse than Endless Legend in the sense that the combat is just so terrible. And it's funny because at the same time, Galactic Civilizations had a similar problem where the auto battler system in Galactic Civilizations was also pretty poor. I still preferred in Galactic Civilizations because of the personalization you could actually then do with the factions and things. But but you look at where Gal Civ 4 is now, and going to be improving even more. I've got to say, look at where their auto battler is now compared to Endless Space. Essentially, I mean, or even like this isn't an auto battler, but you look at the progression. Even over the last 2 years or one and a bit years of the development of Gal Civ, where they've really tried to make combat engaging in a meaningful way, and they're achieving it. I won't say they've actually fully achieved it, but they are achieving it, and so they're heading really in the right direction in Gal Civ. But Endless Space, it was always just yawn, auto battle, and there was no real thought in it. So that for me, again, the combat is probably where I focus mostly with these sort of games, and so again, if you're looking to figure out is this do I want to actually grab this game, keep in mind my sensibilities because if you're into city building, if you're into planning where the tiles go, if you don't really want to get too involved in combat, this could be a great game for you, Endless Legend 2. But if you're more like me, where the combat does matter, then it's probably going to be a yawn fest for you and not really all that immersive once you get past the beautiful user interface. Major Swifty saying it sounds like an interesting mechanic. I'm thinking you were talking about the receding land. So that is that is the one really innovative mechanic that they've got in the game, and I think that's a great way to do it. Like it's that for me is brilliant. The receding land, exposing the land. Now I know other games have sort of done it, but in this case it does expose. It's instead of doing eras, they're essentially doing that, and so you don't go through eras as such, but you do in the sense that the game changes at that point and becomes something quite interesting. So DKR87 is saying, I saw Derek Paxton in patch notes of Fallen Enchantress. Yeah, okay, so that was one of the big reasons that I thought this was going to be a great game. Like I mentioned, there was two aspects about Endless Legend 2 I was excited about. One was Hooded Horse coming in as a publisher, which because they really end up with great games, but I don't know how they're going to save this one. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because it will be a successful game. Like this will be a very successful game. And again, but it's not my type of game from what I can see. I do want to have another look at it, but it's but yeah, for me, and I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can. But the other big plus was Derek Paxton coming in as the game designer for it. If you don't know Derek Paxton is Kale from the Civ. Was it Civ 2 or Civ 4 a mod, Fall from Heaven 2? And so he actually developed a mod called Fall from Heaven 2, or Fall from Heaven, then Fall from Heaven 2, which revolutionised. It must be Civ 2, I think. Now, is it that old? I can't remember how old that actually is. Anyway, he made that game go from something that was a good game into an absolutely awesome game. It was considered the best mod of all time back in its day. Amazing mod that he put together. And so he was then recruited by Stardock. So we've been talking about Gal Civ and so on and so forth. So Derek then went to Stardock to he essentially got not bought out. What is it? Sort of not even poached, because he wasn't working for a gaming company at that stage, but he got hired. He got hired. That's the word I'm looking for. He got hired by Stardock to come in and look at what they'd been doing with Elemental. So there was a game. I don't know if we can even find these games anymore online. But Elemental was the Fantasy 4X that Stardock was putting together, and it was a real pile of shit, to be honest. Like by the time they released it, it was terrible. It's funny because and there's so much you can do with the history of this one. Elemental was going to be Master of Magic. The IP for Master of Magic, and this is another tangent we're now going off on. The IP of Master of Magic was hidden away for decades, where no one could get access to it. And then different companies thought that they could actually then start to come in and actually develop the Master of Magic, including Stardock. At one point, they thought they actually had the IP in the bag, so they started to develop Master of Magic. It's sort of funny when you actually look at it, because Emperor of the Fading Suns that we were talking about was also, because these were all Microprose games back in the 1990s, and when Microprose sort of fell apart back then, they're back now, of course, but back at that stage, the companies that I forget who it was that sort of took them over, locked down the IP on a lot of these games. So they locked down, for decades and decades, the IP for Master of Magic was locked down until just recent years. But Emperor of the Fading Suns actually had a clause in theirs to allow them to keep on developing it, which is why we're still seeing development with that game. So it's funny how they all come back from the same sort of era, the same sort of stuff happening. But anyway, back to Derek Paxton. So he was brought in to look at Elemental. He could do anything he liked at that stage. So he could come in and basically make any changes. And he made Fallen Enchantress out of Elemental and really saved that game, essentially. So they decided to call it Fallen Enchantress to get away from the negativity of Elemental. Because really Elemental was it had too many game mechanics in it. Like it actually was... it was completely unbalanced in terms of its game mechanics, and so Derek then came in and sort of pulled all the reins in, got a really good Fantasy 4X out of that one, and so Fallen Enchantress ended up sort of becoming a very good game, and that was again Kale, or Derek Paxton was the guy involved in that. So and then he has since worked on other games within Stardock. He was there for a long period of time, but he was also the one that then brought us the original release of Gal Civ 4. So he was actually sort of the main designer with that one, but I feel he dropped the ball with that one, because that was a real bland, boring game when Gal Civ 4 first launched. And I've got to say, it reminds me of this game, of Endless Legend 2, with the overall approach. So I actually feel that there was a lot missing from Gal Civ 4 when it first launched, when it launched into the Epic Game Store. And at that point, Cale then went across to work with Amplitude, I think, to work on this game. And then basically the Gal Civ 4 was then taken back over by Brad, the CEO of Stardock, and revamped. Basically, sort of every element was then looked at again in a very, very serious manner. And we go from a game that was very, very bland when it first launched at the Epic Games Store to by the time it launched on Steam, it was really quite a solid, good game, and it's improved all the time since then. So Gal Civ 4 has essentially it's sort of funny because I hate to say it, but Brad was the reason that Elemental was really. He wasn't listening to what any of the feedback he was getting from the community back in the Elemental days. But for Gal Civ 4, he's really sort of like like he's now really engaged with the community and sort of. But he's not just implementing what he's listening to what the feedback is without actually listening too much to the suggestions on how to fix it, which is a good thing for a developer to do. They should listen to it, but not feel obliged to do it. And so he has revolutionised Gal Civ 4. So it made it from a very, very boring game into a great game. And so Gal Civ 4 is sort of really on the rise there as well, with more changes to come. Anyway, let's keep on going. But I do have faith that Derek sees things in a big picture way, and so I thought that was a good move as well, getting Derek in. But having said that, when I look at this one and I look at the way that Gal Civ 4 launched, I don't know. Like it's I'm still hopeful that Derek will be able to, like, if there's enough people that sort of talk openly and I guess freely about the problems with the game, maybe they'll be fixed. I don't know. But for me, that was actually, I thought, was a positive. Black Panther saying you don't like dust is like saying you don't like gold. It's just a resource. It is just a resource, but call it gold. It's a fantasy game. Call it gold, not dust. You don't go looking for dust. But they won't do it. It's just again, when you start to get negative about a game or about a system, like, because they shoehorn FIDSy, like these are the different mechanics that they have. They shoehorn that into every game that they have, basically. Well, not every game, but it's sort of like it's the same. They call it, every time they do anything to do with money in any of their universes, it's all dust. It's just dust, and I don't know. Just call it something more immersive. It's like they're beholden to this FIDSy system where dust is the word for gold. When it's just I don't know. For me, it's just like, oh, here we go. We're trying to make something. I'm trying to think of another game that actually does that, where you've got essentially like the fantasy side and then a space side. And the only one I can think of is Warhammer, but I don't think Warhammer adheres to like these sort of these mechanics that they've got to have in space games and fantasy games and whatever else it might actually be that they're working on. It's just sort of like it's the same system goes everywhere with Amplitude games, and I just wish that they'd drop it and just put in what they want. Now, does the FIDSy system work in this game? Yes, it does. It works very, very well. So, just wish it wasn't just FIDSy all the time. So it's just I'm being negative without needing to be negative about something that actually does work. So anyway, that's just where it is. So Dean Ross is saying it'll be a day one purchase for me. Yes, and look, it's not going to be a bad game. It's particularly if you're into developing the cities and stuff like that. I think that people will enjoy this game a lot. So Matthew Logan is saying it's the name of the thing. Just call it Gold or Spice. It seems a bit pretentious. That's a good word. Pretentious is what it comes across as all the time. It's always just make this system fit and then build a game around it. Is the way it sort of feels. But it does work. I just don't like the term. Hi Dom UK, how you going? Superdog is saying, I think turn-based combat is hard to do these days. It's either bland or it bogs the pacing of the game down. There's some games that I really, really hope come in with procedural generation with their maps, because the combat is really, really cool. And I always forget the name of it. Hang on, let me... this is a game that I've been looking at because I know that they're building a second version of it. Symphony of War. I really hope that Symphony of War comes in with procedurally generated maps, because the combat system is very good in that game as well. It's simple, but it's actually it's done very, very well. It's sort of, it's funny, there is, if you just go back to here again. So we've got the, Super Dog is saying, I think, turn-based combat is hard to do. They say it's either bland or it bogs the pacing of the game down. It doesn't have to. Really doesn't have to. Now, it's sort of one of those things, like, and that would be an argument against Age of Wonders 4, is the bogging down of the tactical battle. I like them, but that's what I like, and I know a lot of people just don't like the how long it takes to play out a tactical battle in Age of Wonders 4. It's funny because Age of Wonders actually tried to address that in Age of Wonders 4 by making the battles smaller than what they've been in previous versions, but they're still long. I just saw another game on my desktop there, which I think is pretty cool with the way it sort of, like, if you look at, where was it? I literally just saw it, just sort of skimming over things. Crawl Tactics. This is a tiny little game where you just have like a party that goes through through procedural maps that where the puzzle aspect of trying to get through each map is actually really quite interesting. So it randomly builds a map, but then there's a lot of puzzle aspects that are randomly put into it that allow you all sorts of different opportunities in combat. And so Crawl Tactics is actually an interesting one for battle systems, where the different units have got different abilities. It's meaningful. The terrain is meaningful because of the potential to be able to then use traps and other features of the terrain. The terrain can block things like that, and you don't really see that with Endless Legend all that much, to be honest. So anyway, it's just so if you're not into combat, if you're into city structures or city development, then you're probably going to love Endless Legend 2. Yeah, so it is Endless Legend 2. Dean Ross is saying a lean towards auto battlers these days. Yeah, look, and there's some great auto battlers out there. Mecha Bellum, fantastic auto battler. God, I like that. I like what they've done with that. That was such a surprise packet. Bruno is saying good afternoon. So hi, Bruno. DKR is saying admitting Age of Wonders 4 is the king of 4X. Age of Wonders 4 is not for everyone. It's too complex. Yeah, look, but it's immersive for me. I just love that game. Super Doggy saying Dom 6 says hold my beer. Yeah, we spoke about Dom 6. So Matthew's then saying you can't go wrong with Age of Wonders 4 or Dom 6. Absolutely. The Mac Daddy of 4Xs. Yeah. So and Dom 6 special game. All the Dominions games really incredible. So George is saying Daz Rage Quit. I'd love to see it. I've done that a few times. In fact, it was funny because we were talking about Warlock, and I did actually rage quit when Warlock Warlock was released. It gave me the shits, that game, like something chronic. It's a game I wanted to like so much, and I really got pissed off with that. I'm trying to think of other games that I've gotten so pissed off with that I just could not play them, and Warlock was one of them. Warlock 2, when it first came out, it was so unbalanced, and it was because they pushed it out. It wasn't ready when they pushed it out, and then they didn't fix it. And so if you do play Warlock, if you get Warlock, make sure you get the Renaissance mod, but you do have to then get the DLCs for it as well. So that makes Warlock into a great game. But without it, Warlock is a shit game. So Warlock itself, in fact, I wonder what Warlock rates. I think it was from like over 10 years ago now. Warlock 2. The Exiled. Still $30. That's actually expensive for such an old game. Yeah, 2014. So over 10 years now. This is an old Paradox game, but it's mixed. So 68% of the viewers actually thought this game was positive, but it's the combat in it is so if you get the base game, it deserves that score. It actually does. The various, you do get a little bit off with the bundles there. God, I wish they'd make a Warlock. You don't need all of them, but if you go into the workshop, and this is from the Majesty area, like it's if you've played the old game Majesty, this has taken those type of units into a massive fantasy game. It's not really a 4X, I guess. It's the city building is actually, no, cities are still very, very unique. You've got to specialise your cities. So, but this is like when you play the Renaissance mod, if we go into Community Hub, I will show you, because this is one of the best mods, in my opinion, ever made. Go to Workshop, and most popular items for this week. Is it in there? There it is there. 5 stars. You don't see that. So this is the next best thing to Warlock 3, and it really is. He's gone into the base building of the game. He's done all sorts of stuff with this to make it incredible. It really is amazing with this. It's sort of so much, when I see it, I actually want to keep on playing it. I mean, it was updated now a couple of years ago, so he hasn't been updating it in recent times. I mean, it's an old game now. But God, this changed the game dramatically, made it so, so good. Anyway, let's not go off on tangents too much. We'll go back to where we were, back in Endless Legend, and continue on down here. Sorry, I'll keep on reading the comments here, guys. So Matthew's saying, I don't see you missing anything, Daz. You're just being honest, which is very much appreciated. Yeah, like I'm trying to be objective, actually, which is, as I said before, when I start to feel negative about a game, I really try to stop myself and think, okay, what is working with this game? What's not working with the game? So hopefully I've presented a fair argument for the game. I can see that there'll be a lot of people who will love Endless Legend 2, like a lot of people will, but not me, unless things change. And I can't see them changing. So Drexy's saying I was very negative on the podcast we did. So Drexy's involved with Explorminate. So I played another 10 hours after and was slightly more positive about it. But slightly more is not. I mean, it can be immersive because of the the user interface. You know, like it's sort of one of those things where it's pleasant to play because it looks good. Marley is laughing, so Drex is saying, I strongly disagree. While the game is pretty, the UI sucks, as does the combat, which is the problem with every Endless game. So you think the UI sucks, Drexy? So I think the UI is beautiful, and I will open it up so we can have a look at it. Black Panther is saying the UI is times better than Civ 7 UI. It's very nice. So Adrian's laughing, and okay, it's a lot of weird fluff that isn't realised within the game. So it says Matthew, hi Michael, how you going? Hi Sorbacol. I know it's in Legend 2, yes. We'll move off from it fairly soon. Like writing a detailed timeline and history for Pac-Man. I'm not sure what that was referring to. So Goodney is saying, question, have you tried out Spellforce Conquest of EO, 4X Fantasy, with turn-based combat? If not, check it out. Yes, I have. I have to try to get hold of the DLC, actually. I have to contact them. It's a bit old now, the DLC, so it's probably not really something that they need to be trying to promote. But I do, what I like about Conquest of EO is I did like the combat system in that a lot. I thought that had a very, very good combat system. What I didn't like was the lack of random maps. And so, but they addressed that with one of the DLCs. So, but I never got that DLC. So sort of it's one of those things where I get so busy with different games that I'm thinking, look, I won't chase it because I probably won't have a real lot of time to really play it properly. But I did like the combat, I've got to say, in Conquest of EO. So Michael's saying, what's the giveaway today, Des? Crossing fingers for Armour Brigade 2. I don't have any Armour Brigade 2 to give away, unfortunately. But I do actually have some Distant Worlds base game to give away as well. So we've got that one. And again, thank you to Chris who sent me the game. He got it on Humble Bundle, already had the game, so he sort of has kindly donated that for us to give away today. Major Swifty saying auto resolve 24/7. Yeah, well that's what you can do with it. Tenry saying hi. Lewis is saying hi, doesn't chat. So Silvercall saying does Endless Legend 2 have the Nemesis system for combat heroes? Yes, it does. It does have like your enemies. I'll open it up so we can have a look at it, and you guys can just ask questions, and I can show you aspects about it. Civ 4, it was Civ 4. Yeah, Civ 2 was way too old, wasn't it? Korosami saying hi. So Scott saying I miss Master of Magic. Yeah, okay, I really hope that I really hope that Slytherin does something with it, because I think that was a game that could have been really, really good. It just didn't really get like a lot of people playing it. The modern remake of it, and they did a pretty faithful job of remaking Master of Magic. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it actually a lot. For me, the pacing was good in the game, but there was just little things that just weren't finished. You know, like there was a lot of little quality of life things, again, user experience things that just weren't there. And so the user experience let that game down, I think, in terms of, you know, being able to sort of get a solid working version of the game. Scott's saying the remake somehow doesn't capture the same feel. For me, it does to a large degree. When you go back and play the original, you think, oh God, this is shit. Compared to the modern remake, because I did try that and I couldn't play the original. I just hated playing it. I have played Caster of Magic as well, and I still didn't like. I liked what Caster of Magic did better than Master of Magic in terms of the balance of the game, but I much preferred the way that Master of Magic had been put together. Okay, Michael's saying another auto battle of Gal Civ has become better. I still prefer manual control of ships though, like in the old game Imperium Galactica 2. If the fleet goes too big to manage, just make it groups of fleets or groups in fleets. Yeah, look, and that's why Gal Civ doesn't do turn-based combat, is because the scope of the game can be so big. And I can actually embrace that. For so long I wanted Gal Civ to go to tactical combat, but I can see why it doesn't. Yeah, it's a funny one. Somebody's saying sounds like Marmite, either love it or hate it. Now, where did I get to? Sorry, there's still more. Here we're getting close to the edge of the end of the thing now. Major Switchy saying, how many DLCs does Galaxy 4 have now? I'd say about 5 or 6, I think, from memory, but I'm not 100%. Somebody's saying Vegemite, depending on which hemisphere you're in. Yes, well, we have Marmite as well as Vegemite. I actually prefer Marmite. Marmite's a little bit softer than Vegemite. Vegemite I like as well, but I do like the taste of Marmite. It's just doesn't have as much bite as Vegemite. Yeah, Dean Ross is saying, I bought the special box set for Elemental. I like the look of the zoomed down map, which was quite good at the time. Yeah, see that's an innovation there with the cloth map from Elemental. Like Elemental, that was one of the things that Elemental did very, very well, was the cloth map for the zooming out. And then look at all the games that now do that, like Age of Wonders 4, Endless Legend 2. They all have it now. The cloth map aspect, which is good. I think it works very, very well. That's something that Master of Magic should have done, to be honest, as well. They didn't do that. Like they didn't actually follow that innovation, and they should have. Elemental sort of was the first one that I can think of that actually brought that in. So yeah, dust is basically spice, says Korosami. Yeah, it's sort of I find the Warlords DLC the best of them. Yes, I agree, Michael. I do like that a lot. Anomaly Lab saying, how can I apply for giveaways? Oh, at the end of the game. So at the end of the session, if you're still watching at that point, and I know that a lot of you will drift off to sleep or whatever by that stage. As I drone on about games, but if you're here for the end of the session, the giveaway is we do a marble run. We have a thing where everyone gets a marble, so you can just basically, and you just do it through chat. You just type a word into chat or whatever the keyword is, and then you're in the running. You then are given a marble, and then we play a Grand Prix where your marble competes for the prize. So that's how you do it. So Tenry's saying they should have called it Dazzed. No, it's like I just the FIDSI system works very, very well. It's just always exactly the same for everything. Yep, Korosami saying super powerful substance that changes people. So Daz must flow, says Korosami. By the way, the Disney World's 2 AMA has been pretty fantastic so far. Some great community feedback and dev responses. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. Is that happening now, or did it happen before? I know it was coming up. Hi, David. How are you going? David saying, hope all is good. David is involved with Microprose. We're just talking about the old days of Microprose with Master of Magic and also Emperor of the Fading Suns, like they were old Microprose games. So David is very heavily involved with Microprose. Microprose have got some great games as well, by the way. If you're looking for excellent sort of almost, well, they do a lot of flight sim type games, but they also have a real lot of strategy games now. So yeah, anyway, we'll have to do a section on Microprose at some point because their games are great. So Matthew Logan saying Roffle at Warlock Rage Quit. Oh, it drove me nuts. I was so wanting to enjoy that game when Warlock 2 came out, and I hated it like with a passion. But I liked the idea of it. So it was so badly balanced, and so now it after the Renaissance mod, it became one of my favourite games. But the Renaissance mod saved it, and I wish that they would go back and redevelop that because it was really, really quite cool. So Dave Flute's saying Second Front so needs a random map scenario feature, would reinvent the game. I agree with you, actually. Second Front is another Microprose game, actually. So, but I agree 100%. Second Front is sort of like a puzzle game to a degree now, but but yeah, random map scenario feature would be awesome in that game. I think another, like if I'm being negative about games, I think where Second Front also is a bit of a problem, and it's sort of like an entry-level World War II war game with 3D graphics. So it's fairly immersive with the way it does it, but the combat mechanics are unusual. So the combat mechanics, you sort of have to learn them first to then be able to play the game. But it's still simple. It's just a bit different. So but Second Front, great game. So Sorbical says that Amplitude games have always been a style over substance. Yep, 100% agree with you. And the Space 1 and 2 especially. Endless Legend was the one game they made that feels like they've overcome this. Yeah, Endless Legend was the one that did have innovation, but all the other games that they had, and the Endless Dungeon, I'm thinking, I saw it, but I never really played it, but I think that's maybe the exception. But yeah, style over substance is pretty much what Amplitude does, in my opinion as well. And to be honest, I'm thinking Endless Legend 2 is the same thing. So Anomaly Lab saying Warlord's Battlecry 3, a best strategy of all time. Yeah, I didn't really like it. It was okay. Again, that was an okay game, but I didn't really get into it all that much. Michael is saying, I remember you did quit a game once because it was because I think it was Immortal Realms of Vampire Wars. Yeah, that shitted me off too. I forget what it was, but that one I wasn't really looking for. That wasn't a game that I was really, really wanting to play. Like if you know what I mean. But Warlock was. So Warlock 2 when it came out, and then it was just so terrible with the balance. It was yeah, that was the one that I like. Yeah, I remember the actual. I even remember vaguely what caused me to rage quit. That was 10 years ago. with Warlock 2, I can't even remember what the thing was with the Immortal Realms because I wasn't feeling passionate about the game. Whereas with Warlock 2, I wanted to like it, and then I remember coming through a portal, arrived with all my forces on the other side of the portal, and got smashed by some monstrous creature, and destroyed my whole army. And I thought, nah, can't play it. Can't play it. So so. Do I forgive? No, I don't. Well, sort of I do. If they, I'm not, what's the word? I take vengeance to heart, I guess. I still remember vividly when things let me down like that. I'm not very forgiving. So hi Sebdos there. Hi Wiggly as well. David saying, expecting new Microprose Classic announcement this week. Oh, okay, great. Because they've been getting some of their old games back, which is great. So that'll be interesting. Benjamin Solons is saying, I went back to Endless Legend last night and finished the game in about 5 hours with skipping the combat. It definitely feels like a 4X game and not a war game, and with basic diplomacy. Yep. So hi Chris, how you going? Drex is saying, guess I should have said UI UX with EL2 because there's a lot of info buried or just not available in EL2. Yeah, I'm not sure what you meant there, Drexy, sorry. So Daz is petty, says Tenru. Yes, I am. Sounds like you should have sent a scout in first, says Wiggly. Anyway, let's keep on going. So when you read these things, if you really just distill it down, if you think of style versus substance, and then try to get the substance out of all of these comments, there's not much in there. You know, like even choice of faction, yeah, blah blah blah. Yes, it does have that, but it's more just numbers hidden by the user interface, more so than actual something that's meaningful in the actual game itself. Military doctrine varies greatly between the factions, providing unique opportunities for a capable commander to gain an advantage over their foe. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that to the extent of other games. Either auto-resolve combat or take direct control of individual units within your armies when battle begins, using the surrounding terrain to your advantage as you seek out choke points, cover, and high ground. Apart from having faction-specific units, traits, weapons, and attributes, each faction also features special battlefield abilities that can turn the tide of battle if properly used. Where one faction, it sounds great, doesn't it? It's not. It's not that good. It's got basic features which do basic things. It's basic. It's really basic. Recruit heroes and watch them grow over time as they gain new traits to bolster. Well, actually, with that there, the combat, it takes like 1 turn or 2 turns to sort of reach the other side. So range units, I don't know. It's just there's, yes, there are these things in it. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's just not quite there. Recruit heroes and watch them grow over time as they gain new traits and bolster their abilities, build relationships that provide them with various boons, and acquire equipment useful both in and out of combat. Powerful commanders, properly trained and armed, can turn the tide of entire wars when wisely utilised. Yes, there is that development aspect of the commanders. They do have a level up system. Again, it's not mind-blowingly innovative. But that does work. Evolving world, starting with a single humble city, expanding. Yep, the waters then recede, exposing new land. Which this is the one big innovation. Cataclysmic tidefalls expose new opportunities and threats as the oceans recede, which they do. Plan the development of your cities to focus on population growth, industrialisation. Yes, this is a big plus. If you're into this aspect, so the development of cities, then you will enjoy this game. I can tell you that right now. You're going to love it if that's what you like. So let's read this one carefully, because I think that this is the Cataclysmic Tidefalls are innovative for the gameplay, and so they replace eras and stuff like this. But they do it in a way that gives you a one thing I like about this Tidefall aspect is the fact that it actually, where you still keep the same stuff, and so you're still playing in the fantasy era, but you then suddenly go back into another exploration phase straight away, and you're sort of starting through that, which is exciting. Like players like doing the exploration phase, I think, to a large degree, particularly as their armies start to get bigger, and so by holding you back, letting you build up a little bit, and then exposing another portion of it, letting you do the same thing with that one, build up, expand. That's really, really innovative, and that is very, very well done. So this is Cataclysmic Tidefalls. That for me, and it's funny because a lot of the videos I was seeing, but they weren't even talking about this being an innovative thing. But I think from a game pace perspective, from a strategic choice perspective, from a like the actual game enjoyment perspective, all of these things are massive pluses. So this for me is the big innovation in the game, and that's really, really important to actually embrace that. If again, that does give you like a pulsing of how your game enjoyment is as you play the game, and so I think that's good. I think that's actually a very, very good aspect. But then the next one here is plan the development of your cities to focus on population growth, industrialisation, and commerce, or prioritise their contribution to the sciences, your empire's influence, and your military might. The choice is yours based on the needs of your burgeoning empire. Establish districts that provide fortifications or further the production of various resources. Take advantage of adjacency and terrain bonuses, and pursue technological advancements that allow you to upgrade existing districts or unlock entire new options. Will you patiently seek out ideal locations or establish long-term economic hubs and military strongholds, or will you spread rapidly to secure new lands and increase with an increased productivity ahead of your enemies? This is again where the game really does shine. So if that statement there sounds exciting, this game is for you. Seriously, and I mean that in all honesty. That is where the game is very, very good. And so like the whole thing of planning out how you're going to maximize the fidzy aspect of the game, which is population growth, that's the food. Industrialization, what's that one? That is industry, that's one of the I's. Yep, so that's the first I. Commerce, well, that should be dust. They should be in brackets, dust. Science, that's the F. So we've got the F is food, the growth. I is industrialization or industry. D is dust or commerce. Then we've got the science is S. And then the influence is the last I there. And so that's the FIDSI system there. But they didn't mention FIDSI. I'm disappointed they didn't shoehorn FIDSI into this description. What are they doing? Why are they moving away from the aspect that they sort of embrace so passionately within the games? But there, I'm being facetious. But the actual system itself works very, very good. But if you like that statement, if that statement makes you think, yeah, that sounds pretty good, you're going to love this game. You're going to absolutely love it because that is really where the game does shine. And so we've got that one through there. The lands around you are teeming with both opportunity and danger alike. Crush the weaker-minded factions that are around the world to pillage their resources, or instead cultivate friendly relations, have them join your growing empire, incorporating their distinctive units and heroes to further strengthen your people. Explore ancient ruins and strange anomalies. Braving this for me is fluff. That doesn't ring true for me. They're quite boring from what I can sort of see. The actual factions, like the actual units, and so on and so forth. It looks exciting with what they've got down through here, but in reality, it's there wasn't a real lot going on, to be honest. So I just found the whole combat system was again pretty, but not meaningful. Not when you've got so much more deeper games that sort of work with the actual combat itself. I was disappointed in the combat, to be honest, and I was disappointed in the way that it was. The way it sort of was handled in the game as well. It's just I don't know. I just thought that whole aspect was a big negative. Write your own legend. A deep mystery buried beneath the surface of one's tranquilization world. Yeah, blah blah blah. I think that this is sort of like quests. Then their quests seem to be all pre-made, which again for me is a negative. Will you be a ruthless conqueror or a cunning builder? Yeah, well, I think if you prefer playing as a cunning builder, you're going to enjoy the game. if you want to be a ruthless conqueror, play Age of Wonders 4. That's pretty much a cultivated diplomat or a flesh-eating beast. If you want to play diplomacy, don't know which game you'd play with that one through there. I never really got into I didn't get far enough into this game to actually look at the diplomacy aspect of it, or a flesh-eating beast. Yeah, don't know. Will you bring back harmony to the planet, seeking out lost legends and heroes, or will you? Yeah, look, some of you will actually find this incredibly immersive. I think the game will do very, very well because there will be a lot of people who sort of do enjoy the user interface and sort of can not really care much about the combat. It's certainly a better combat system than a lot of city builders. But I think the city building aspect of this game is extremely good with the way that they sort of have structured that, and the way that you can then sort of work through the Actually, we might start the game up, have a bit of a look. But look, in its early days yet. I don't like to be too negative about a game before it actually does come out. But there was a preview build that I did have, and as I say, I just wasn't impressed. It wasn't my type of game at this stage. Where did I put it? There it is. If you head into Endless Dungeon down there as well, in the embargoes section, I'm not sure if I think that was a demo that I had that will have expired, but I did mean to have more of a look. So let's have a look and see. Geez, we've gone for an hour and a half just talking about this. I won't spend too much more time in this. One thing you'll notice is most of the really good stuff in the game is hand-drawn and not 3D. When you look at the 3D stuff, it's actually pretty weak. Like the terrain looks good. Let's just move that one across. I'll just skip past that as well. So again, like not 3D. It's like this is where they're using they're using just nice graphics, you know, to do everything. If we just go into play, just go to a new game. So you've got the different, now when the necrophages come in, I will be wanting to have a look at that to see, because I love these from the first game. I enjoyed playing as them. So they're like the undead, and so so that would be fun to play. Excuse me, let's just go and start. And I won't go through, but again, like this is not 3D. This is you know, it's all sort of actual artwork, graphic design, begin your legend, 3D here, zooming in, very, very simplistic, so you hardly see them at all. The terrain looks great, so that looks good, but sort of fairly basic of the way it sort of does work. So, and again, just good design, like, you know, good user interface all the way through. I really can't fault the user interface at all. So it's sort of one of those games I think that people will be excited to play, like when they start to come in. Not me, but other people will be. Now we're starting off in the terrain. There's our mud map or our cloth map. So this is essentially like a where we can sort of very quickly sort of see the you know, what's in and around and how things are sort of then working. Let's go and use our scouts. We've got a scout through here that can sort of then go off and scout different things. Got these sort of anomalies. I'll just go and move that one across. Picked up 30 dust. There we are. Great. So that's sort of the Fidzy system up there. I won't play it really, but we've got a faction in here. So this is the Amatrine. And so again, there's not a hell of a lot of these, and I don't know. It almost needs to be, but if we just move across, I'll just go and talk with him. You'll have to go back in next turn and talk with them. So I'll just go and... Now, one thing that's interesting here, which I really like this aspect as well. So and when I first fired it up, I thought, oh, wow, this is great. This is innovative, and it's cool because we're not rushing to build a city. So you've got to take time to explore and choose the best location to found your first city. That city will receive a prepared settlement bonus for every turn you spend exploring. So what ends up happening here is when we actually settle the city, you'll see that it's a prepared settlement bonus. So what this one is this effect will apply to your first city you've found. Its duration is determined by how many turns have passed since you obtained the bonus. So we obtain this on our first turn, which means that we don't have to rush to get our first city built. Now think of games, for example, like Gladius, where if you don't build your city really on the first or maybe the second turn, you are screwed. Because you've got to get it down. In this one, what happens is whatever the effects are that we end up getting from the prepared settlement, we end up getting 50% extra for every turn that we spend, which means that we get a bonus by being careful about where we go. And I really do like that a lot. So for me, that was another innovation that I thought worked very, very well, because it made it so that we could actually be a little bit more relaxed in our approach to the game, and I appreciate that a lot. So I thought that was positive. Let's have a look at this one through here. We're just going into our turn. And we're back to 3 movement through there. Let's go and talk with these. So essentially what you do, and it's the same sort of style of things as you come back through. If I go through and parlay with this, they'll then give me a... this is what I meant about the way that this is very much just shoehorned out of what is it, Battle for Westnoth. You've got like somebody that talks and then it's busy time, the way, blah, blah, blah. This will always be exactly the same. So you can sort of skip, I just skip past them, I get a bit sick of them. So protect Lena from roaming armies for 5 turns. Learner. So I don't know what learner is, but this will be the same quest for this faction no matter what. Now, where the hell is learner? Is that learner? No, that's a village. I don't know who learner is. Is that learner? That must be learner there. That unit. So we just need to protect the unit. Let's go and I want to settle down over. Well, actually, there's no real good spots. If we go, and any unit can settle, which I think is also good. Yeah, I've got a reasonable one there. I'll just go and settle there for the sake of it. There's another one back there. So this is a district system, and again, you're going to sort of find the FIDSI system sort of in play here. We've got a lot of dust in this particular start, so we're getting sort of like good dust in through this other side. And so for every turn that we end up getting, we just got a bit of a bonus there because we've now sort of settled it in. But it's again, it does look good with everything that's going on. I'll just go and move across. Torso leathers found. Without spending too much time with it, I'll just quickly put that torso armor on. When you look at this, I mean, I was really unimpressed with this, like this 3D. Hang on, I'll just go back in there again. Like, it's really shitty 3D work on the characters, but then the actual graphics look good, like, so again, the graphic design is good, the overall user interface is good, but the underlying stuff is not as good as it looks. So style over substance really with a lot of the stuff. Anyway, let's not play it for much longer, but that's sort of but I think that, as I said before, a lot of people will really enjoy this game an awful lot, and I think it will be it will be very positively received, but just it's not something I'm all that I should have gone there actually in the middle there. That would have been a better start for us. But anyway, let's just get out of there. But so is it a bad game? No, it's not. Is it a great game? No, it's not. It's sort of in the middle there somewhere. All right. So where did we get up to? So Dominic Kane saying, feels like Endless Legend 2 is getting a lot of time. There's a lot of interest in it, so that's why I thought it's really sort of go into a deep dive. Now, the issue with combat is the map is so small. When your army is melee-based, the battlefield can be quite narrow, and they're just stuck behind it. Yeah, that's pretty much the same as well. It just wasn't that great. John saying, perfect with my Chinese takeaway and Daz and the Marble Run. There we go. Anyone tried Heroes of Might and Magic Older Era yet? It's on early access now. I haven't. No, I haven't actually. Heroes of Might and Magic I don't love. I love the idea of what it can be, but I don't really like it. Please make a Conquest of Elysium 6. Conquest of Elysium. I haven't. Which one's that one? Oh yeah, Conquest of Elysium. That's 5 actually. COE 5. 6 is not out. I don't even know if 6 is being developed. So I thought it would go in early access late summer. John, I'm not sure what that was about. And Matthew's saying Endless Legend 2, a lot of robot but not much cop. Benjamin is Solons is saying the exploration and city development are the best thing about the Endless Legend and Endless Space series. The combat and unit depth is lacking though. Yeah, the exploration phase, again, the graphic design aspect of it works out well. The quest system I'm really unimpressed with Endless Legend 2 from what I've seen so far. They may be able to fix that. I don't think they can fix the combat, to be honest. Michael's saying this is a playtest to join for Olden Era. Yeah, there's a fair few Heroes of Might and Magic games coming out. What we might do actually is skip across and go and have a look at another game that was actually what I might quickly do is talk about Commandos, which as I said before, I've been doing sponsored streams for them over this week because it's now just actually I'll start there. I'm interested to see what the community thinks of it actually, because I was really pleasantly surprised with it, and so mostly positive. What's it rating? I know that there was the first stream I did only 76%. I'm surprised at that. I really thought it would be up in the mid 80s. So for me that's about 10 off. But maybe I'm really just enjoying what I was playing with it. It's a puzzle game, so it's not the typical sort of game that I would normally play. But I like it. I don't know what the negative reviews would be. Boss, I'm tired from mediocrity in my games. In fact, this game is below average in my eyes. Now it's going to play this game, guns blazing, killing every enemy left and right. You'll be all right. But for me, as a pacifist runner that strives for more challenge, this wasn't an option. That's true. You do need to. You can. you can knock them out. Truth be told, this game betrays non-lethal gameplay and mocks you in the face of enemies. So no, I don't think that's true. I'll say no to that one. You can't sneak your way through with this game. You have to still do combat, but you don't have to do lethal combat. So there is a way around it. But I mean, you do have to do lethal combat during the during the tutorial part, but after that it's your choice as to how you then take things out. In fact, I don't even think you have to do it there. So 0.6 hours, that's not enough. You're probably refunded. Bug riddle jank. Yeah, I didn't find that at all. I had no problems at all. Great game. For like Commandos games, I agree 100% with that one. Game indeed brought some nostalgic vibes. It does indeed, but does it in a modern way, which is great. Yeah, we're not high expectations of the game. I was not disappointed. Very nice solutions and many extra ideas. Yeah, it's fun to play. You can play it your own way. You just can't play it in a completely passive way. And I know that some people like to play these games that way, but really, in reality, I'm trying to think of what game. What's a game you can play that's sort of like this sort of Commando style game where you can play completely passively? There's only one game, in my opinion, that comes to mind, and that's Intravenous 2. It's the only game that you can actually try to get through the whole thing where you, where I'm pretty sure you can sort of find, but even then you're still knocking people out. You're still pretty much, you can sneak through a large portion, and it does encourage you to try to sneak through the whole game. But it's Intravenous is also pretty cool with the way that it sort of works. Game crashes from time to time. Yeah, I didn't find that. Hesitate for a while. Still for a good point. It's just for my memories. Still early in the game, but feels solid so far. So there's a lot of positives mentioned there. It's just negative. I like reading the negatives. The game doesn't work in multiplayer upon release because too many bugs. I didn't try that, but it's a co-op game in multiplayer. This review contains spoilers. Commandos series fan here. They're 22 hours. That's actually a good number. Played a lot of the game and almost left a positive review until a crash happened. Yes, okay, so there's been a crash. That's fixable. What's the cons? Simply mediocre and unfinished. Hope it gets fixed. See, I've really quite enjoyed it. I'll fire this one up as well because, as I said, I actually really, I did enjoy that one. Actually, I'll just move that one across. So we're looking at this one now. And we'll turn that one off. If I go back into the actual game, I'll show you portions of, again, the way what I think they've done very, very well with this game. If we go into, where have I got it? There it is, still under it in my embargo section. So it's was done by Calypso. Just launched the game. So if you like the old Commandos, I think you're going to love this game. You know what? My biggest fear with this game was there was another game that came out. What was it? Not Starship Troopers. Stargate. The Stargate version of this game I really didn't like. I just thought it was boring, whereas this game has got like a lot in it. There's another one as well, like the Shadow Tactics type games and the Shadow Gambit. It was one that I was really impressed with, Shadow Gambit, and I'm as impressed with this game as I am with Shadow Gambit. Now Shadow Gambit I know rates incredibly highly for one of these sort of Commando sort of style games. If I just go into, I'll just load the game as to wherever I am. I'm sort of, this is a night combat type game. I was with this game. It's like Calypso is not the original developer of Commandos, but they're a good choice of developer for this game, simply because they do a great job of games like Tropico and sort of games where you've got like a bit more intricacy and you can sort of see the polish that they've put into it. So I do like what they've done. Sorry, I'll just press continue. And we'll get into it. So in this case, you can see that this is actually the way the tutorials are handled, with little video content through here, where it sort of shows an aspect, usually on the same map that you're on, where stationary gun crew. Now what's happened there is they're using a sound device to try to attract the attention, but he won't leave his post, and it's just telling you that that's what that is. If we move around the map, whoops, hang on, it's the arrow keys, I always forget to do that. So that's a gun emplacement there. There may be another gun emplacement somewhere else. We have to sort of then go and get through. Not seeing it there, but there'll be another one somewhere else on the map that we would then need to get through. But they've got sort of like wandering guards that go through. They if they're not expecting to see footprints, it make them suspicious. The way the guards are handled, again, reminds me of Intravenous 2, where they go off collect other guards to come and search for you. They search in hidden locations, so it's quite clever the way that it's not just basic stuff from the old Commandos. They've done a very, very good job of this. We've got a machine gunner here, so this is actually where we've got the. If I just right click, I can then get rid of the command there. I'll just go and close that one. If I go, I'll show you aspects of the actual game itself, but this one here, we've got our forces down below. If I press the Alt, I can then sort of start to rotate around the 3D environment. So it's fully 3D. We're hiding. Now that's actually, I'm just going to pick this one up. I've got number 1 selected, which is my green beret. This is the same old graphics from the original Commandos, if you sort of did play that one. If you press Control, you can then go and pick things up. Just go and pick up the sound device. So we've got that one through there. So if we have to get past this location, I'll show you, I'll grab the sniper. He's back over here. I don't know if I can snipe this guy. Let's see if we can actually do a shot with the sniper. This hopefully will then sort of get them to come through. At the moment, they're both hidden in this area. If I go and if one of them dies, they both die. I'll just get this one right out of the way. Let's just move him down into there. Just see how far they come. So if we go back to number 3, and if I then go to the sniper rifle, which is the S key, or I can click on that one through there, and then just go and have a bit of a look. It's like can I actually shoot him? And you see how it's sort of not getting through there, but I can shoot it. Like if I do that one, the red line goes that way. If I press Alt, I can then sort of get in behind him as well. Just sort of have a bit of a look to see if that would then sort of work. So that should be able to shoot him and kill him. But that then alerts, this guy's going, what? Like he's now come back out. He's now suspicious because they've now found the dead body. I don't know why they didn't actually go off and start searching. Normally they go searching. So that was, we managed to clear out that one. I don't know if we were supposed to do it that way, but anyway, that wasn't a good example. I was trying to sort of show what happens when they do get suspicious, but apparently what happens is they'll always man the machine gun they never leave that unmanned. The graphics look great in the game, but that was not a good example of here we go. Yeah, see how this one has now come across this group. What's he going to start doing? You watch as he comes in. Now, this is, see how the alert symbol here, if I just go and press S, now he starts searching. Shoot him again. Here comes another one. He's gone, oh shit, what's going on? Something crazy. Let's just watch him. They're now searching the hidden areas around the map. It may be too far away for him to actually find where we are. So he'll start searching. This is sort of like the alarm system in the game, where they'll start to try to figure out what's going on. These are not part of the group that was manning that one there. And again, looking around, looking for bits and pieces. If there's more of them around, they'll then sort of come running. These have been too far away. He's now gone back. Even though there's dead bodies there, he's actually the trouble with the dead bodies is we've now got this one coming back up. I won't keep on playing it, but I just really enjoyed it. Like every little portion of it is a puzzle, but then the other things will react and respond depending on what you're doing. In Intravenous, he would have run up here and grabbed these guys, and then they would all start looking for you everywhere, and they wouldn't stop. So Intravenous is more realistic in that sort of sense. But the Commandos, as I said before, from a puzzle game perspective, I really, really enjoyed it. So we'd have to take this guy out. Another thing that's quite cool is that he can't see very far because he doesn't actually have a torch. Anyone that's got a torch, like if we have a look at this guy here, for example, see how he can't see much because he's not looking at the torch? Look at this guy here. Where the torches are, he can see a lot more clearly. This guy, as he wanders in, he can see clearly where the lights are. It's just little things like that. There's just lots of little polished things. If we press escape and have a look at the tutorials, all the tutorials are done as sort of showing how to sort of do all the stuff. Sometimes they've got multiple versions of the of how to sort of do the basics, but they're all it's all nicely done. It's just it's just really, really well managed the whole way through. So as I said, there's the alarms that we saw there before. So enemies will call out an area alarm when they notice hostile actions. So nearby comrades will join their search. And so there was two different aspects where we were discovered. We were discovered the first time with the when the crew came out back to the machine gun, and then the second one was when the other guys then discovered it, and so that it left it at 2. We didn't get to level 3. I don't know if it'll sort of show what happens with that one through there. Global alarms. Yep, after 2 alarms, every following alarm will be a global alarm where more enemies join the search. So even though they found dead bodies, we're now at a point where they will go and search. So again, it's very clever the way that the game sort of does work with these things. I'll just go back to the main menu. So return to the main menu, confirm. Yeah, so it's sort of, so as I said before, I've been very, very impressed with this game. Yeah, like it's, actually, you want to quick confirm. I was really worried it was going to end up being a little bit like, in fact, let's just go back and have another look at the, one thing I do notice is my fans go a bit crazy on my computer, so I think it actually is a bit of a resource hog. If we go and have a look at intravenous, I'll also have a look at the other ones that sort of around this, this same sort of way of playing. See, this is overwhelmingly positive. This is 95% and 96%. So this is, but this one, like they're not that dissimilar, to be honest, with a lot of what they do. But intravenous, you just play as one character, just going through like a sort of like a commando style character, where you can actually play this one. I think you can play nearly every mission in this one where you don't actually go and trigger things. But again, it's a puzzle game. You've got to get through the actual maps themselves. But once they sort of discover you with this game, they will then come hunting for you. Look at Stargate. Stargate Timekeepers. Yeah, this is mixed, 59%. That's what it deserves, to be honest. This is also a commando style game. It's a shame because I really like Slytherin. I hate sort of putting their games down, but I really don't like this game. I think this one was very poorly done in comparison. Then you've got other games like Shadow Gambit. Shadow Gambit probably reminds me the most of what Commandos is. This is also very positive, like 92%, 87%. This is set in the pirate era with sort of like ghost pirates, so you can sort of do more magical things. The thing I liked about that was that they really thought through how they could make their units play in an exciting way. And this is where I sort of thought that Commandos, originally when I started playing Commandos, I actually thought, how can you follow up a game when you've got Shadow Gambit that's come out fairly recently as well, and make it compete? But they did, and that's what I love about Commandos, is that even though you don't have the magical gameplay of what you can do with the units in Shadow Gambit, you still actually have the it still works, and it works well with the different units. Whereas with Stargate, it just fell flat, and whereas in this one it really does. For me, it just, like Shadow Gambit, I really enjoyed as well. So there's a few good ones there that sort of do that whole Commando sort of style. I mean, Commandos is where it did start, and I think again I was sort of when I was doing my first live stream, there was a few sort of negative comments about the Commando, about Commandos, and I know I wasn't playing it very well. I'm pretty bad at those sort of games, but I was sort of surprised at the negativity around it. I don't know why that would be thought of as a negative in such a, like, it had an immediate negative aspect to it from what a lot of people were commenting, and undeservedly. I actually felt that Commandos was is a like the new Commandos is a very, very good game. So that is currently available as well. Commandos that only just came out. I think it's in early access. Actually, I'll just go back to. But there's a good collection there if you do like the Commandos games. There's a good grouping of them there. Intravenous, I think, is something pretty special. But I do like the way that this escalates as well, like how the guards do go and start to pick them up from different areas, and then you've got to sort of try to make your way through. So if you're playing it in like I play it as a save scum exercise, I don't like being discovered at all, so I just save scum my way through it. That's fine. The game doesn't judge you. You can do what you like at any point. So it's not as if you are set. What Intravenous does to stop save scumming is gives you a certain number of saves you can take, but you don't know how big the run is going to be. So you're very judicious about when you save. So that means you often will make mistakes, get killed, and have to go back a fair way. But it still works. It gives you much more tension. Just different ways of playing it, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, that's Commandos in through there. Currently on 9% off, which is not a great amount. Actually, that's I don't know why that's so expensive. Content for the game. Yeah, it's DLC. I know it's not on special at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty exy, I guess. Looking, and this is Australian dollars, so it's about $50 US, I guess. Would be sort of where I would imagine it would end up being. But yeah, look, as I say, like I was very pleasantly surprised playing the game. It felt there was a lot of polish in it. I didn't have any problems at all. Okay, let's continue on. So we've sort of done those. There was another game. The other game I was going to talk about. Actually, I'll just have a quick look and see. So Morbid's saying playing at EL2 as a pacifist was good, or EL1, I think you mean. Michael Duss is saying, Golden Era looks to me like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 with a touch of Heroes of Might and Magic 5. Hope they don't mess it up. So with the Heroes of Might and Magic games, I find that you end up with you need to have a Doom stack, and I don't like that in that aspect of those games. Like it's sort of they need to find a way to stop the Doom stacks, like to actually sort of limit what they can do. I find that I get really bored with Heroes of Might and Magic because of that. So a quick read through the comments. It seems a bit weird that you want a non-lethal game set in World War II. Yeah, that's true. No, I can see why. The reason that someone would be wanting that is because the game is a puzzle game, and so there's different ways to solve the puzzle, and there should be a way to solve it stealth-wise, where it's purely stealth. And so that's actually what they're asking for, not so much non-lethal, but more just complete stealth. And so I agree with that sentiment, but I also think, well, it is what it is, and there are certainly multiple ways to get the same result in the game, and so there's a lot of ways to sort of get through each area, but usually it is going to be lethal. In fact, even when you start it off in Twitch, it does come up with a warning, a content warning, saying that it's an adult-only game. So Wiggly is saying, I don't remember what Commandos game it was, but the Winter Stalingrad sniper mission was a pain in the bum. I don't remember that one. More than a bit, says Matthew. And he gets suspicious upon finding a second corpse. Says Brian. That's again just the mechanic of that alarm. That alarm mechanic is, so you have to manage that alarm mechanic. That's again part of the puzzle. It's a puzzle at the end of the day. It's not there to be realistic. It's there to be a puzzle game. Pile of bodies equals a little sus. So because saying, speaking personally, always suspicious when I come across a dead body. Yes, so a little bit. Only one alarm aspect though. Only one alarm goes up. So Wiggly is saying, seems a bit stupid that guy's not running off and raising the alarm. Well, if it was realistic, yes, that's true. But so if they're close enough, they draw them all in. So if they're within yelling range, and that he wasn't in that instance, they will tend to draw in other units, and so you can end up with a whole mass of them coming to look for you. So it is one of those things where the game does can snowball with having units that will then come searching for you, but they'll then go back to what they were doing after it all settles down. Although the alarm counter will stay high. So that's how Commandos does it. In Intravenous, they will search for you frantically for a long period of time, and they'll get more and more people involved, pretty much nearly everyone, and then they'll go back to patrols on heightened alert. So Intravenous just handles it differently. Intravenous is more realistic, but Commandos is just part of the puzzle game from Commandos. Okay, so Wiggly's saying Intravenous 2 gets really hard when all the gangsters get radios. Yes, because they can then talk with each other. You have to be then very, very careful how you take units out in Intravenous 2. So Michael's saying, Daz, any plans on doing a full Let's Play of Panzer Corps 2? I do play it a lot on the Slytherin, or not a fair amount on the Slytherin channel, and it's a game I really like. I've got to say, Panzer Corps 2. That's a game that I would happily keep on playing. You know, like it's particularly I do like the random maps in it, and I like I really like what Panzer Corps 2 has done in terms of the and in fact it's funny you mentioned Panzer Corps 2, and because they had to start from the ground up with what they were sort of doing in terms of their of building a game that was, instead of it being triggered by proximity to then release units, it was a puzzle game. Panzer Corps 1 is essentially a combat puzzle game, as was the original Commandos. And so when I was playing Commandos, I was thinking a little bit about Panzer Corps 2, because Panzer Corps 2 also then has a system where the units have to then be able to adapt and be AI driven, and that was where when I first was playing Commandos and came across where they did actually go and get collections of people to come and search for me, I thought, oh, that's clever, because I never used to do that, not to the same extent. So I thought that what they did, where they had to have the AI be able to again go and start to do searches, I thought that was clever in Commandos, because I thought, oh, they've gone similar to the Panzer Corps 2 route. Panzer Corps 2 has had to do a lot more work, though, in that regard. So Panzer Corps 2 can have random maps. Panzer Corps 1 just can't, because it's all down to the scenario designer to have triggers on the actual map itself. So again, Panzer Corps 1 is a puzzle game, like Commandos is, essentially. Panzer Corps 2 is a strategy game, because the actual units are randomly, like they'll do random things, and that's gotten better and better and better over time as well. Dave Flute saying Low Magic Age now has a random world map maker with Party Adventure Age. It's really good. I haven't played that for a long period of time, actually. Adrian's saying you can't understand it because you haven't played any of the previous games. You can't understand it because you haven't played any of the previous games of Commandos. I did play the original games, but back in the day, like I was surprised at how old they were, to be honest. Now Brian's saying, oh no, stacks. I don't know what that is. So I have to leave early again, says Serenity. Could you enter me in the giveaway? Yes, but the onus is on you to, I'll try to remember to put you in, but the onus is on you to then double check at the end of the session to see if you won or not. I don't go chasing people. You've sort of got like a couple of days to get an email to me if you do win. But yeah, I'll try to remember. Like my memory's really bad, but I'll see how I go. Michael's saying, it's been a while since I played that one. It's great fun going deep down into the dungeons, fighting hordes of crazy tough monsters in Low Magic Age. Yeah, I haven't looked at that for such a long time. Okay, Brian Day saying real gangsters don't talk on the radio. And Tenra is saying Intravenous annoyed me at one point so much that I rushed guns blazing through the remaining missions. I usually like stealth, but in that case all I could think of was F this. I know what you mean, and usually that's quite successful in Intravenous. You can sort of you can almost get away with that. Just having made it through this life, it's saying, Daz, thanks for all the game recommends through the years. I've discovered and played some great ones thanks to you. Thanks for that. Yeah, well, actually, another game that we'll now have a look at is Heroes of My Magic Clone, which is Stormbringers. So we'll make this the last of the ones that we have a look at today, I think. Stormbringers, is that it? Stormbringers. Is it Bringers? Oh, what is it? Storm something. It was announced. It was only just announced. I have to go to Slytherin, I think. In fact, if I look at the Slytherin games, there was mention there of Armour Brigade 2. I really enjoy this game. I've been playing this one just like when I've got like a bit of time, I'll just fire it up and play what I've got. I might even open that one up again because that's only just come out, and that's a really good game. I love it. I did a live stream of it, I think, during the week as well, just because I enjoyed playing it so much. Where are we? It's a new announcement. So it could be anywhere. There it is. Stormbinders coming soon. So so the Stormbinders, a turn-based strategy game with a unique fantasy setting, classic tactical gameplay meets a new level of strategic depth in a battle for survival against chaotic magic storms. Look, I'm not sure how this game is going to go, but it is a game that I do want to follow. It's a turn-based strategy game that immerses players in a world shattered by the blah blah blah. Anyway, it's got that old world feel. Is there I don't think this actually shows us much. I'll just sort of I'll turn the sound off, although it should be okay. The graphics are again very Heroes of Might and Magic. They're not 3D as such. Actually, although that's got 3D aspects to it. It does actually have a thing where it is coming back through. Let's just see what we can glean from this one. Actually, it looks pretty good full screen, I've got to say. I thought it was pixely. Oh no, it is pixely. Is that pixely? Oh, it's not too bad. But it's very Heroes of Might and Magic, very sort of original Heroes of Might and Magic, where you've got your castle, go off and do your stuff. There's a resource area, I would guess. Different units there. I'm not sure why we're not seeing there's another another stack there as we sort of come back through. So it says with a new spin. I don't know what Now this is where I like this aspect of games, and again, there's other games that have done this quite well. The graphics aren't great, but that's, we're talking about an oldish sort of style game, so we've got sort of like different units coming back through here. I'm not sure how many different types there will be. So very, very much just standard Heroes Might and Magic sort of fare in through this other side. The thing I did like here is that your commander does come in. I'm comparing this with, and I'll have to look at the actual game itself. There's another game that is a very, very good Heroes of Might and Magic sort of clone as such, and this one I think is sort of heading that way as well. I like this. I like having the actual tactical maps more so than the old original Heroes of Might and Magic sort of style. I prefer this sort of style. So we've got overworld terrain changes. So your standard city building in Heroes of Might and Magic, very much the same. It's almost identical, to be honest. In terms of every unit has got like a weak and a strong, not a weak and a strong version, but an entry level version and an enhanced version. So this is the combat. It looks like the combat may be slightly up from the recent clones of Heroes of Might and Magic. So we've got the different things coming through. So I'll no doubt be covering this. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. It's sort of one of these things where when I first heard about it, I was just thinking, it's going to have to do something pretty special to, to sort of to work. And there was something about it. I forget what it was. Unleashing the power of storms. The big thing for me was if it's going to have random maps, and I believe it is. Without random maps, I would not even consider it. Class of tactics on the battlefield. So combat unfolds in a classic hexagon battle with an orthographic camera. Success depends on the composition of the armies, their positioning, and the ability to cast strong spells against, considering the enemy's strengths and weaknesses. Again, I sort of it's these sorts of games. The trouble with these games is that you need to have a massive doom stack to be able to crush the enemy. If you don't have a doom stack, what tends to happen is you end up losing too many units. And so I don't like that aspect about these games, about any of the Heroes of Might and Magic type games. It's sort of, if you can't crush them, you're going to lose units, and it's all about attrition in these games. So they all come down to what's the least amount of units you can lose to still be effective in combat. And I wish that one of these games one day would figure out a way to actually limit the doom stacks, to sort of so that you end up with having, I wouldn't even mind if it was like multiple stacks, and also then to try to make it so that there's much more of a rock paper scissors aspect of the units that you bring in. If they could do that, I reckon they'd have a great game. But I've never seen it in any Heroes of Might and Magic, Heroes of Might and Magic itself, and also any Heroes of Might and Magic clone. It's all about getting your doom stack and then sort of moving through, which I think is, for me, is a real problem, like with these sorts of games. Okay, so so Lewis is saying the best clone for me is Songs of Conquest, and it has procedural generation map. Yes, that at the moment is the top of the tier. Champions of the Realm, yeah, blah blah blah. So there's 18 unique units. Each faction has 18 unique units. So there are sort of like there's things to like about it, but that the doom stack problem is a major problem with any of these games, including Songs of Conquest. So Songs of Conquest is where have I got that one there? So Songs of Conquest there is actually a let's fire that one up. This is currently the best Heroes of Might and Magic game out there by a mile. There's nothing even close to it, to be honest. So this is why I want Symphony of War to come through with random maps, but they won't do it. They just won't do it. It's a puzzle game more than anything. Now, I did double click that, so that should fire up, hopefully. Where did we get to? Sorry. Yeah, so Invictus saying, Daz, did you hear about the war game Field of Glory 2 selling fanatically? Yeah, someone did mention it. Here we go. This is now opening up. So, yeah, very cheap. Has he done the giveaway already? No, I haven't. I'll be doing that pretty soon, actually. We'll sort of start to wind up. We might have a quick look and see what any of the announcements and just quickly see what's happened this week. We spent a lot of time with going through things. So we've got the, we'll accept this. So this is pixel art, of course, but it works very well. And so this one does actually have community maps. It's got a map editor, but it also has random maps as well. Actually, I won't play it, but this is the best Heroes of Might and Magic clone out there at the moment. I'm thinking that the if I just press escape, no, it's not going to get me there. It must be options. Can I quit? How do I quit? There, down the bottom there. Yeah, I shouldn't have bothered opening it up. But the yeah, that's the best of them at this point in time. So Songs of Conquest definitely sort of like is the best of them. I think that Stormbringers, or whatever it's called, is we'll challenge it on about the same level, I would assume. But if any of those games can solve the doom stack, like I call it a problem, but it's really the goal. The goal with any of those games is to get a doom stack, stay close enough to your forces really to be able to wipe out the enemy doom stack, and then go and kill their castle. And I don't like that it's always exactly the same approach every single game. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's a random map or not. That's still what you do in every single Heroes of Might and Magic game. So anyway, that is the best of them so far. Storm Binders, not Bringers. Storm Binders, I think, will actually ultimately end up on about the same level. But again, if they innovate and actually do something about the doom stacks, who knows? It could be a great game. But that for me is where the game does need to. Any of these games need to somehow get around that problem. There's so many ways they could actually handle that too. It could be actually the limitations with the heroes that they have, where it becomes more hero-driven by having, but then you've still got the same problem of an expendable mini doom stack with one hero that you don't really care about to weaken the enemy and then go in with your main army. So there'll still be doom stack-ish approaches. So I'm not sure how they can sort of fix that. yeah, like you look at Age of Wonders again. Age of Wonders 4 has changed their approach. They've tried to make every single unit actually work well all the way through the game. Whereas in Age of Wonders 3, the Doom stack was really what you're aiming for the whole way through. Not so much in Age of Wonders 4 anymore. It's the balance there is much better. So it certainly can be done, and maybe these sorts of games could look at games like Age of Wonders and think, how did what innovations did they do to keep units sort of fresh and working well all the way through? And they could certainly do something with whether it be Stormbinders or the Songs of Conquest, whatever it might be. Okay, let's go and keep on having a bit of a look. ZXM saying need to play Necromancers and replenish your troops from the Fallen. At least some games let you do that. Yeah, yep. So so it's and Matthew saying lol Doom stacks, but well, they're a problem in this game. It's all you can, like, it's what you have to do. Like, there's no real way. It's all about superior numbers, and once you get on a roll, you then can crush your enemies. So it's not great. Weekly saying Age of Wonders 4 multiplayer is all mono unit Doom stacks. It shouldn't be. It should be. You should be better off. I don't know. Like, I don't know with multiplayer. I don't play multiplayer. So Michael's saying, I remember seeing someone crawling through the map in Age of Wonders with a few Doom stacks towards. Well, they're still Doom stacks, but they're mixed forces. Whereas in Age of Wonders 3, the Doom stacks were all tier 4 units. Whereas in Age of Wonders 4, you still got to get your stack of units, but they're mixed. They're sort of like, they've got to be mixed forces, and I at least appreciate that. It's hard, but in this game, it's just lump as many numbers as you possibly can, because that way when they hit, they're going to crush the enemy. Whereas if you go in with like something that's fairly even, you're going to suffer incredible attrition, which means you're then that many more weeks behind in your development, so you can't build back up quickly. If there was another mechanic in these games, like Stormbinders, or whether it be Songs of Conquest, where the bigger your army was, the less they recruited, that would also then work. Like Dominions Dominions has got a factor like that as well, where you get you've got to use your income, and the more you pay a maintenance cost for your existing armies, and so you can have a big army. But if you lose it, it just means you suddenly get a whole lot more resources, so you can build up relatively quickly, and so that balance is good, but not in these games. It doesn't work that way. So are we talking about Civ 4? Says Sorbicol. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the Steam news. I'll just open up my version of Steam. I haven't looked at it for this week. I always like to have a quick look and see if there's anything there that is that I either missed or whatever. So introducing the leveler. Oh, okay, they've actually announced this. So this has actually Escape the Mad Empire. I didn't think I was allowed to talk about it, but if the fact that they've actually now mentioned it and brought it out, I've got it there, Escape the Mad Empire. I like it. I won't say much more because I am under an embargo with it. Introducing the leveler. So done. So this is actually this is a dungeon crawler, but it's quite nice. Okay, there is some information there. But have a look at that. If you're into dungeon crawling, you might like that game. That's coming out through Paradox Arc, which is sort of like, it's a way that they get like small developers and then sort of help them through with their game development. Age of Wonders 4, this is make your own region. Okay, modding tutorial, so there we go. Sins of Solar Empire 2, I've got to cover that a bit more. Symbols to the AMA, which someone had mentioned was very, very good. So I'm not sure when that actually is, or was. It must have been a was, I'm guessing. Yep, so there's there's Escape the Mad Empire through there. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance, look at the upcoming update. This is, so there's going to be a more to do, I think, with, is there going to be more random stuff? There is. This is actually, I'm really looking forward to this. This is a great game too, by the way. If you're, I play this a lot on the Slytherin channel. It's something I should play on my own channel as well, because this is a very, very, very good game. Like, it's surprisingly good. But there is stuff coming in the yeah, this one here, Conquest Mode DLC. I'm really looking forward to this. This is coming in the Northern Hemisphere summer. It should be a law. They've got to write Northern Hemisphere summer, not just summer, because it's my winter. So in the winter for me, it's summer for most of you guys, I guess. That's exciting. That is exciting. Yep. So request for additional, more sandbox, less linear option, something a bit more open-ended. This is actually what it's going to look like, where you go from area to area, have to take over the areas and sort of fight back against Legion. So it's a Terminator. It's very, very, very good Terminator game with squads. So you sort of control squads of units to then sort of achieve the objectives. And I thoroughly enjoy this game. I play it a lot on the Slytherin channel, as I said before, and I always have a good time with it. It's interesting, and so having a random aspect to it, or more of a sandbox option to it, I'm really looking forward to be able to sort of manage your troops and sort of move through. That's going to be awesome. Anyway, let's continue on. Xenonauts 2, they're keeping on releasing their more stable version, so still in early access, but getting closer and closer. There's Commandos, which you spoke about. Quasimorph, I didn't mention Quasimorph. We might have to do a... Quasimorph. God, I really wanted to talk about that today as well, because they've actually just brought in a major update. So this is 0.9. Okay, so this has got augmentations and implants. It does change the actual way the game is played. New locations, story missions. It's becoming really, really good, this game. Like, this is really becoming good. The one big problem with Quasimorph is the trading aspect is a pain in the bum. You can't. There's no way to really know, okay, look, I need to get this item to make my ship better or whatever it might be. So you sort of fly blind a lot. And so I really hope that they now start to address that aspect, because at the moment, trading and actually looking for equipment to enhance your ship is really problematic. Like it's micromanagement hell. Everything else about the game is incredibly good, and what they tend to do is just sort of focus on one thing at a time. This is really good, by the way. They've now got a new combat log, which allows you to see exactly what happened, and that's really, really good as well. So you can sort of quickly go back, and rather than actually having a look to try to figure out what did go on, you can just click that open and see, okay, that's I hit him there or hit him where it might be. Great game. So that's all the new stuff that just came through. When did that one release? On Saturday. Well, actually, that's pretty major, to be honest. God, I'm sort of running right out of time today. So Tails Sly Fox is saying the new Quasimorph is great, apart from the trading, like you stated. Yeah, trading is the only thing in this game that is absolute shit. So Quasimorph is absolute shit in trading, but everything else, it is brilliant. It's a work of art in every other aspect. When they do focus on trading, they'll fix it like that. Like, it'll be not a problem at all. So I would, if you're even half interested, grab it, because they will fix the trading. They just haven't got to it yet. And what they've been doing is introducing new things. Look, I'll start it up because, I'm not in any great rush today, and I know that I always think, I better get to the giveaway because people are looking for the giveaway, but no, we're here to go through games, and so we'll go through Quasimorph as well. But this is one that I could happily do. I almost did a video on it because I thought, this is great, getting into this one here. But it's, Quasimorph, very, very cool game. So let's just go through it. I cleared it out the other day, and so I've got no real save games. I'll just clear out. I've played for less than an hour on this one here, so I'll just get rid of it. Got a new save. Just play on normal. You can actually go and customize your starts to sort of give yourself the experience that you actually want. I'll just skip past this. I don't like the cutscene. I sort of wish there was a way to turn that off. There probably is. I'll just bypass the training. Supplies on the spaceship are running low. So this is essentially a mercenary type thing. Time just ticks by slowly. We've got no missions here in Phobos, so we're around the moon of Mars in this instance. If I go into the spacecraft, This is where the game is not good at this stage. So it shows a lot of potential. But if I go into any aspect of the game, so navigation, if I try to go to any of these, if I go to upgrade, it will then tell me what this thing will then go and do. So when activated, it creates an additional random mission in the current system. So by getting that one there, if I go to try to upgrade this one, it requires 2 switchboards. But there's no way when I'm doing missions, if I come across a switchboard, which is only worth 93 credits or whatever, I'm not going to pick it up. But I would like to know that's something that I need. Like it doesn't tell me that I need it. And so it's a barter item. We can actually also go and barter for it. And again, this is where the trade system doesn't really sort of work. I'll just go no. By the way, this aspect of what we're looking at here is a minor part of the game. So I'll go and just start a mission to show you what that's like. But all these different upgrades have got different things that are required with different sorts of resources. And it's very hard to get the resources. So I'll just go and close that one. The one thing that we actually have, if I just go back, is we do actually have supply. We start off with a welding machine, so I can go to upgrade, and so I can get this one here, the conveyor, improves the Magnum crafting capabilities, and so we do actually have one of these welding machines is available. So we've got one of one. So we just go yes, and we've now updated that one. Now to go to the next one, we've either got a choice of modern machines, where the assembly time goes down, or this one through here. The equipment calibration, so the assembly time goes down with that one as well. But it then starts to sort of move through towards, for example, scavengers. So additional consumables drop after completing missions. So we end up getting sort of like more income, things like this. But there's certain stuff in here that you really want to get as early as possible. Research, engineering, which one is it? The hangar, I think. Allows you to summon a capsule to evacuate items from a mission to Magnum. This allows us to find things, collect them, and basically say, okay, back up you go to the ship. So when we're doing missions, this is actually something you want to get. So you're looking for management units wherever you can possibly find them. So, and usually the best way of doing this is to trade for them. So let's just say we take this as an example. This is actually where the game is really, really bad at the moment. So we want management units. We know that that's what we want because we want to be able to send items back up to the ship during missions. So if we go back and look at that one, so management units is what we want. And again, you've got to then remember all of this stuff. Just go to back. If I then go to the stock exchange, these are all the different factions in the game. So we then have to go through and try to find info. That doesn't have it. Actually, it's not info. Where is it? Technology. This is sort of what they end up having. No management units there. So they're not any good. SBN, technology. So we look to see if there's anything there. Not really. Realware, technology. Not seeing management units there. So we have to sort of find somebody that's actually got them. So this is sort of what you end up sort of getting through. You can sort of end up bartering and stuff for them. This is their technology that they actually have. So if we can find whoever's got them, and it's got the makings of a great system, and it'll be great when they get it all fixed. But at the moment, it's not that great. Technology. This is sort of what they make, and each one of them has got like a different. I forget which ones have got these. Bridge, Church of Revelation. It'll be some sort of some other sort of group. Yeah, nothing in there. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not seeing it there at all. It's fairly basic, this particular one. And then civil resistance. So I'm not sure who's got it usually then in that case. But this is ultimately how if we become friendly with any of these, and I tend to always go to ANCOM. Do they have it? I thought they would have been the one to have it, to be honest. But I'm not seeing it there. Yeah, I'm not seeing it with what they end up having. But we can't trade with them until we're friendly with them. So it takes a long time to be able to trade, which is a pain in the bum. So I'm just going to go and subscribe to that. What that will do is just highlight it. SBN I tend to subscribe to as well. RealWare I'll subscribe to. And so when they've got missions, this one doesn't have any missions. Dilthy, and you can sort of see when you the info, Engineering Hyper Corporation, Keeper of the Belt. So this is sort of in the asteroid belt. Let's just leave it at that for now. But if I go in the actual, so trying to keep track of what you need is a problem in the game. Like, so you can't actually think, okay, what are these little extra resources that I want to take back to be able to upgrade some different things with what's going on. That would be, it doesn't quite sort of handle it. This one here, we've got at Ceres, they've got a mission. I'll just go back out into the actual ship itself. If I go to the system map, I can then sort of see, like, we're starting off at Phobos. There is actually 2 at Deimos. If we have a look at the different missions, we've got one which is Sunlight Coven. The Civil Resistance is the rebels, and you can see there we've got a conquest mission by Sunlight Coven against the Civil Resistance, and we've also got a Civil Resistance attacking the Church of Revelation location, which is we can either side with them or go back to security. So they've improved the security missions quite a bit, actually. If I go and do that one, if we go across to Deimos, so we'll start to travel. It's only going to take 20 hours. And so the missions will sort of come up over time. So we're now around the moon Deimos, around Mars. And if we have a look, this is still here, so we just go into it. We're going to switch over. So we're not going to do the Civil Resistance one. We're going to do the security, so Urban Night. And then we just go and select an operator. And so if I go and grab, I'll grab a ranged one. So you can see through here, we've got accuracy, like 65, that one's 60, 65, 55, and then 50. So I'm going to get Victoria. So I'll pop her in there. So she's just rookie. This is now new, the implants. So if we have implants, we can give her bionic attachments to the parts of her body. So we get in the base sort of stats and through here. So the implants will then be able to enhance what she does, but we don't have any of those just yet. That's who she is. The class, you start off with either a range class or a melee class. We're going to go more this side, where we get different bonuses depending on what actually happens. I won't go through in any detail there. The equipment, when we go into the actual combat itself, you always want to take in at least, like, the least you carry, the more you can pick up when you're actually in the area. This should be fairly simple. So I'm going to go in with minimal clothing. I'm going to take a knife as a secondary item, but I'm going to also then take in, we've got a shotgun, we have a submachine gun. I'll take the submachine gun, and just in case I run out of bullets, I'm just going to split this, divide, and take in half of those. That's my vest slot. I think I'm going to get away with that. I don't really need to do much else with her. So let's just go back. So she's now ready to do the mission. We'll just start the mission, continue. This is where the game absolutely shines. And so these are random missions. They're procedurally generated maps, but they've got an algorithm on how the map is then created. So she comes into the actual location. So the map is now randomly generated. I don't know why it doesn't show the randomly generated map when you come in, but that's what we end up having. So we end up, again, if we have implants, we can now start to make use of them, but we don't actually have any. In this case, I think we've just got to, if I go to the maps, sometimes there'll be an area on the map. Now we know everything on this particular map because it's shown. And yeah, all we can do here is we're going to have to defend an area. So that looks viable. Sometimes there's actually equipment you have to protect. In this case, it literally is just killing off the enemy as they come through. So I was hoping that we're going to be defending an actual room, but there's no real rooms on the map. And if we have a bit of a look at what's going on here, there's we're not going to have a lot that we can then go and do. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to start sneaking around until we come across them. So we'll and I won't spend too much time with this, but if I just go and press the Z key, I'm now in sneak mode, which means I'm going to hear them when they get close. But let's just go up into this region and just see what we can see. We can spot a little bit in around the place. By sneaking you in, oh, there we go. We've got one there down through this other side. Now I'm going to press X I'm going to go into double at this stage. Now that one seems to be only moving at 1. So let's now move to there and just press space. We're now the next turn, and there's 2 of them. I'm going to move back. In fact, what we can do is when I hover, I think this may be a mod that I've got. Actually, it may be base game now. So this one is showing it's got a ranged weapon. That little symbol on the left-hand side there is showing range, and he only moves at 1, so he's only going to be able to move to there next turn. This one moves at 2 and is a ranged weapon, so he's going to be up to there next. So if I just move back to there, he'll then be right there. So I'm now going to shoot at him. Now if I go and I'm going to push in rapid fire mode at the moment. And so yeah, I can go to single or rapid fire. In this case, I'm going to press X again because I'm going to need to move away from this guy. I don't want him to get a shot at me where I am. So I need to kill this one off. That one's done. And I could have another shot there. Missed. There he is. And so I've got to keep on sort of kiting my way back through. And I'm missing because I'm in this, I'm in running mode. So accuracy goes down by 25%. Let's now press the Z key and go back down to normal move. And so in this case, I've now got better accuracy and got him. All right, now we'll go back to stealth mode again. And this is actually where we then get the, this is the combat damage. So we're seeing what actually happened with our shots. So Spear dealt 24 blunt damage to Raider with a shot from the Storm TT. We're down to 7 bullets now. We've got a pelvic bone fracture. So then we got, dealt 17 blunt damage. This is really cool. Like that we're now seeing this. So we're starting to sort of see different stuff because sometimes you don't need to actually finish them off with bullets as such. Now let's go and have a look at this unit. That's ideal. Actually, what I should do is before I do anything, I'm just going to go and reload. It's going to take me two turns to do this. I'm just going to unload the ammo there. So that's now being fired in. And here's our first lot of equipment. So we'll take the clothing, which will give me a bit more protection. This is actually pretty good clothes, to be honest. So we've actually now got reasonable protection just from what we've now found. I could take that weapon as well. It's not really worth a lot. I'll probably end up throwing it away. That's the body if we needed to sort of cut pieces off for whatever reason. Let's just now move across. So we've still got one more turn before we reload. That's got shotguns. Actually, what's that one worth? That one's worth 200, which is worth more than the cricket. And there's not much else there really. These boots are the Urban Monkeys versus the Partisan boots. They're worth about the same. So not really any great difference there. So I'll just keep that one where that is. And we'll just keep on sort of, now that we're in stealth mode, we actually now have the ability to hear things or notice hidden enemies. So I'll just sort of keep wandering around this little region. Here they come. Now they were moving at, that moves at 1, that one moves at 2. Now that one, they're both ranged units. If I hide behind there, I'm going to be able to get some shots in. Now I think what I'll do is I'll go back to running mode, even though the accuracy is bad, and just go and have a bit of a spray. Got them both. Wow, that was pretty cool. Okay, we'll go back to stealth mode again. So this is sort of how you play it. Like a large portion of it is actually working with stealth. Down to 13, I could reload again. I might just do that. More of those. Got Fibromin. This is burn tablets. I'll just go and throw those. I'll throw this cricket away. There's another shotgun. That's a bit better than the wreck, I think. We'll throw that one away as well. So there may be better stuff in through here. I think what we've currently got is actually fine. Yes, there's nothing much else there. Yep, nothing there. Oh, this feces, he shit himself. Alright, so we'll just leave that where that is. Now there's another one coming through here. See, he's only moving at 1. So what we'll do is we'll just basically stay here. So he'll be out next turn. So we'll just go and just go back to 2 at this stage, and we can then sort of move in behind here if we have one shot missing. So he's also a ranged unit. and depending on what faction they're from, will also be fairly different. So I'll shoot at him with the accuracy. Got him. That's good. And again, we'll just reload. Again, because we're spraying, this is where the blood as well. The guys will hunt you down because of the blood. Actually, we need to go back to stealth mode. More of those slugs. So I'm sort of looking to bring things back to the ship. Just waiting now for, there we go, we've got another one coming. That's only moving at 1. Move back in behind this area. This is another ranged unit. He's down as well. So we'll reload again. Another one coming. He saw me. Oh, now we're being shot at. Combat focus, dodge chance goes up. We need to go back to here. Down. And down. That's good. So we have a, this is a dodge chance goes up because we chose that class that we've got, because we got shot at, but they missed us. Again, I'm just going to go back down to stealth mode again. Yeah, there's still more coming this way and still more coming this way. I'm going to stay in this position behind here. So let's now just go back up into this mode. Press space. Again, another range unit. We missed. Now see how his health bar is really, really low? If we have a look and see what he's got. He's only got 3 health. And he's losing only 1 health per turn. So in this case, I've only got very limited time before I can actually deal with this guy. I'm going to go back down to single shots. So he's down. And now we've been hit. So we've now got this guy down in here who is coming out from this other side. He's moving at 2. And so in this case, we've got the pierce wound. We've got a very deep wound. So we're getting -1 hit point now per move that we do. So we've got 2 deep wounds. If we go to our health, the health monitor that we actually have. So we've been hit in the knee joint. And so this one is a deep wound. Our dodge goes down. Our health per turn goes down by 2, and health per move goes down by 1. So we are losing health. Running is unavailable. We can no longer go up to the next level. We can only stay at this level, just with sort of walking around. So what ends up happening here is I will need to bandage it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on losing health. But I've got 85. So I need to, first of all, get rid of the radar. Got him. Let's go across and fix up our wound. So at the moment, like the wound is a problem. Let's just have a quick look at this guy here. I'm first of all just going to disassemble everything, which will then give me a whole lot of either plastic or rag. If I right click on this one, I can go and stabilize the wound with the rag. I'm going to put that on the knee joint. That then is going to help at the moment. Just for 10 turns, we've got a little bit of recovery. Now we've still got more coming, otherwise we would have got the mission management would be flashing at us. So I need to go back into the, I'm going to ditch one of these and grab the rags, and the plastic can also do this as well. Like it heals fractures 30%. The trouble is you can ultimately get infections by not actually having proper bandaging, but it will just help a little bit stabilizing. You can see it's gone up a little bit. So let's go back down to single mode, and I think we'll just stay where we are. Yes, the health is coming up while I've got it bandaged, and this here, Blind Fury, all damage goes up. Here we go, we've got another one coming. Now if I move it out, just go and press X. He missed. Got him. Still more coming. Wow. Now we're down to 2 bullets. Better reload. Damn it. Okay, unfortunately, we're going to... Actually, what I can do is I can go into my inventory. X, go back up into this mode here. We have to swap over and grab the shotgun. So because it's still reloading, so in this case I need to go back to my inventory, grab the shotgun, throw that there. So we're sort of swapping that one. Actually, the storm, can I do that? I can do that. And then I can switch. Got him. All right, so now we'll go and switch back again. We're back to 16 there now. For the other switch, I'll keep this one here going, I think. Just do a reload and go back to stealth mode again. Just see if we can sort of hear anything coming. Looking is important in this game. Actually, I'll just keep on reloading. These just reload one at a time. That's all we've got. Okay, I'll keep the shotgun this time. Now, our piercing wound has now gone back again. We're up to 92, so we need to now go back into our inventory. Actually, I can do it from the health area. Like if I press the health monitor, what I can use will then show up. So I can use the plastic, and I can use this. Now, it heals piercing wounds. This is a piercing wound, I think. It's a deep wound. But the rag, I'll just place another rag on top again. So we're just trying to patch as we go. Not seeing anything coming just yet. Not sure where the enemy actually is. Oh, here we go. We've now got the mission management. Mission complete. Evacuation. Good work. Get back to the shuttle. We'll pick you up. And so this is one of the many different types of missions that we end up having. And I can just go and check these again if there's anything there. Ceramic plate. It's only worth 4. But again, that's something we could use to stabilize different things if we had to. More shells. Throw them in there. Nails. I won't worry about the nail gun. Now we're back to bleeding again, so I just need to go back to the health. You do have to monitor this. Just keep on sort of soaking up the damage with what we've got. Get back to there, go evacuation. At that point, mission is completed, so we go continue, and we're back. So we've got the Church of Revelation will have to deal with the mess that the public enemies caused at Swift and Voltaire for a long time. Swift and Voltaire is that base on that moon that we just went to. The reward is already on Magnum. Now, what this one does is it does give us a reputation with the Church of Revelation by +12, which gets us towards being able to trade with them, but it takes a long time. And so what they gave us was an Archpriest Scorching Mace, rusty metal, a basic item chip. We've got the Frostman warm synthetic garments, some cognac, and some buckshot was what we got as the actual reward. So that then comes back into where we are. And at that point, I can then sort of just unload all, to get rid of all that stuff, unload that as well, just throw that into the cargo hold. I'll throw that there as well. In fact, I can get rid of all this stuff if I wanted to. I might just throw it all back into the cargo hold. But she now took damage, and if we go back and finish the mission, so we've now finished that one with her. Actually, there's another one actually that's now just gone at exactly the same location. And so in this case, there's the Church, the Civil Resistance is now trying to do a robbery. So we could then do another security mission for them straight away. So they've actually gone straight back in again. So the Civil Resistance is like the rebels in the universe. I've still got this one through here, something like Coven with Civil Resistance, where we have to do a conquest map. I just wanted to do something fairly fast, but that's sort of how it works. If I go and try to do this one, we'll find that in fact, what have we got there? That's just the different groups. If we go to the spacecraft, actually, if I go to the operators, we'll see then that Victoria, she's now a Scout of Hades class, empty backpack, Scout of Hades, no implants, but she's healing for 5 hours. So she can't do any more missions for 5 more hours. And so she'll start to sort of come up in value. She's only a rookie at this stage still. I can still bring the other clones out. So it's a clone system where these just get cloned. And then, and as you do the missions, you end up getting different stuff. But we can't actually go, if I go back, none of these, like these here, like Warden D, this colony, war does not mean we're at war with it. But I can't go and trade with them because Civil Resistance now really hates us, so it's gone red. So I can never go there to trade. But these guys here also won't let me trade. So I can't actually go in and actually talk with these guys. They're just not going to do it. So you can sort of see when I hover over them, the sorts of equipment that we can possibly get from them. So it's what they want. So if we have, and again, I wish we could find this out in game, and so the trade system really needs a lot of work, like a hell of a lot of work. But they'll get there eventually. Anyway, that's a great game. Like I highly recommend it. That's Quasimorph. There's a lot to it, an awful lot to it, and just getting better every time that they do anything with it. Anyway, let's wind up, and we'll get the giveaway going. I think. Hang on, just did we do all of the stuff? We didn't do all of the stuff. Okay, 20th May update. I haven't played Space Haven for a long time. That's interesting. So Against the Storm at Steam City Builder and Colony Simfest. Yeah, that's a great city builder. Intravenous in through there. Wow, 100,000 plus Steam copies sold and 2,000 Steam reviews. That's great. I love seeing like a small independent do so well. That's such a good game. Northgard this week as well. Community update. Okay, that's good that they're still developing that one. Low Magic Age, there we go. We were talking about that one before, or it was mentioned, but I haven't played it for a long time. Maybe I'll have to look at that one again. Shard Punk, wow. Wow, okay. This is a great game. So, wow, it's hard to believe it's already been 2 years since Shard Punk was released. What a ride it's been. This is our first ever game, and seeing it out there and played. Incredible rewarding. It's now Shard Punk is sitting at 94. What are they going to do for us, though? What do we want to do? I'm making a sequel. If it's happening, I'm still in early development. I wanted you to know first. Okay, so it's nothing to do with Shard Punk itself. I was sort of hoping that Shard Punk would sort of was some big announcement with that one. Yeah, we've done those. Yep, everything is good. Okay, so let's get this next one done. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start up Marbles on Stream. So just in case there's any updates that have to come in. Which looks like there's not, and we need to bring in Nightbot to run the thing for us. So what I'm going to do, guys, for the giveaway, if you can type in the word win, I think it is. If we go random number keyword, just go next. Hang on, next win. Yeah, type the word win in, please, and done. So yeah, just make sure you got that one. Now who was it we had to add? There was someone that we had to add, and I forget who it was. Was it Sorpicol? Serenity. Serenity is the one that we have to add. So just type in win, guys, and that way you'll be in the running. You'll sort of see that your names appear back in this other side. So this is for Distant Worlds 2, the base game. And even if you've got it, still go into it. It's good fun. Now we've got the so they're all coming through. So Cookie or Coco, I know I've got to change your name because it doesn't work in Marbles on Stream. So I'll just let that go in for a little bit longer. I'll just get all this stuff set up. Clear those out. That was exciting last week, actually, having a rundown at the end there. That was a good way of doing that. I actually really quite enjoyed that. Just going to finish that name off there. So ZXM is saying, is it just a drawing or marbles? It's marbles, of course. Yeah, Distant Worlds 2 owners play for bragging rights, says Dom UK. Yes, exactly. It's sort of... anyway, let's go back out again. Now, one thing I'd have to do is also bring in my names. We're up to 30 entries. I think we'll start to close it off. Had a lot in last week's run. That was pretty cool. 31 entries there. So we've got so Thomas Bella at this stage is the main one. So they bought the game 2 weeks ago. So bound to win here. John the Chef Hole saying, Dom, I won't pass it back yet. That's played first and last place against each other for extra jeopardy. No, I mean it was fun, but we've gone for nearly 3 hours, I think now. So we'll just go and I'll close it here. So 31 entries, 32 with Serenity, which we have to add in. So we'll copy eligible entries and. Oops, marbles, Control V, and in this one we are going to find, replace all. So I've got a pattern matcher there. Cookie can't be done that way. So I put Cookie's name in, so that one will then work. No one else is in. Tails Sly Fox is saying, is my name in? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's where we are. Okay, so that's good. And then we had number 32 was Serenity. There we are. Major Swifty saying, oh shit, it's case sensitive. Lol. Are you in there, Major Swifty? I can pop you in. Is it case sensitive? That's actually not good, is it? Yeah, so Major Swifty, there we are. So 33 is what we have. So we'll close it off here. So well, it's almost completely closed. So we'll just go this way. 33 is what we want. So we go to race, go to add names, open marble names. Here we are. So 33. Finish that one off. You're there. Are you in twice? You are. You're already there. 32 names. Yeah, sorry, didn't see you up there before. Yeah, I'm already in the list. There we go. Yep, so we got it there. All right, so we'll go that way. Finish, so 32. Back out we go. Grand Prix. 3 maps. Number of races, 32. Bots. Autofill. Good luck, everyone. Good luck. Here we go. So we've got some big races in here. The Insane Invisible Adventure, the Accelerating Wavy Spiral, and the Funny Heart Carnival. All right, play. Let's see how we go. Major Swifty saying, how is it number 4? I'm not sure if it's in the order or I don't know how it works it out, to be honest. Who knows? Now, if we go and start through here, so yep, in we go. So this is one big glass area. Just come back out the side. Just wait for them all to sort of come down through this loop. There we go, Major Swifty. Wow, he's pulled a Swifty. But no, he's been caught now at the top. So the first one out here is Geezer Zone, straight through, or not straight through, Bubicus. Oh, there's heaps of them now. Everyone is here. Brian Day now out in front, along with Sebdos. So back into this loop. So Bubicus out in front, Brian Day, Matthew, Logan, then Sebdos back in through there, down through this little looping area. Oh, ZXM is gone, skis. Okay, so Began is out. First one out. There's no prize for last place today. There goes Bubicus and Sebdos and Brian coming in around the loop. Don't know if there's, I'm not sure how that. There's still Black Panther and Paul caught way at the top. So will they get out? I don't know. So Bubicus has gone one way. Sebdos actually bounced into that. Brian's gone the other way. So Bubicus is still miles out in front. That was a bit of a shorter way to go. Straight into there as well. So Bubicus are way out in front. Comes the Daily Grind. Brian Day caught up. Bubicus seems to be through, but just not able to really sort of take it forward. Let's just go and grab one of the others. So this Major Swifty's made a big move again. Major Swifty 1, not Major Swifty 2, which we managed to get rid of in time. So Sebdos out in front now. So Sebdos has got the lead. We've got the Daily Grind coming in second, Bubicus coming in third. I'm actually looking at Daily Grind's marble there. Oh, and okay, it's got its hard with the glass. See, so Sebdos is miles out in front now. Oh, here comes Major Swifty. Major Swifty is, this is where honesty pays off, guys. This is just it shows you that being honest is a good thing. So actually, Daily Grind has now hit the lead and is coming in towards, actually no, Sebdos has now hit the lead again. Where's Major Swifty gone? He's back there now. I shouldn't talk about different marbles, should I? Because I put the moz on anyone. So Sharky Mouth is coming through. Bubicus. So Sebdos out in front here again, and now leading the charge, hitting that area. So still going to be out in front again. So just follow. I don't like to be like looking at the first marble. I like to see the marbles, a couple of marbles in front, so you get a feel for just how far off things actually are. Now this could be anyone's. Yep. So they both hit the bottom together. Wow. Okay. So here we go. Coming back through this way, and we've also got Sharky Mouth as well. Sebdos still out in front though. He's been able to pull back away. This is the finish line. Here we go. Sebdos is through for the win. Daily Grind coming in second. Bubicus is coming in third. Leo Gaming, a Major Swifty fifth. Legit Spoon sixth. If you get 10 points if you're 10th. At the moment, Geezer Zone is in that position. Paul Kravick and Black Panther got destroyed. They were the ones that were caught way at the top of the map. Geezer Zone coming in. He did get 10th. There we are. So Geezer Zone gets about the same as what the 4th place gets, I think. So, and then pretty much people after that end up just getting 1 point if you finish, 0 points if you don't finish. All right, there we go. Is that the last of it? No, there's still Dom UK and Michael to make their way through. There we are. No, is that it? Nope. Got John the Chef is still making his way through as well. And didn't make it. Didn't make it. Okay, final results. Now, this is old stuff, so we just go across into Grand Prix. And so we've got Sebdos out in front with Daily Grind on 15, Bubicus on 12, Leo Gaming on 10, and Geezer Zone on 10 as well. And then sort of then trails off from that point forward. Okay, let's get into it. The next one, next map. Accelerating Wavy Spiral. Yeah, it was a weird map to look at. It was indeed. This one looks a bit more standard. Just get started. Go down to the bottom. So Michael is the first one out. Dom UK. Actually, they're all getting caught in this little loop in through here. So it's still Dom UK, Began, and Matthew. Serenity coming back. Michael Dus on the other side. Major Swifty coming through as well. Again, honesty pays, you see, guys. Honesty pays. Maladroit in through that other side. And ZXM, so Maladroit and ZXM out in front. I don't know what the others are doing. They're on a different loop. Michael Druss is back down that way. Looks a bit dangerous down the bottom there. So they're going straight through. So Michael's actually now zipped on through with Darkwell and Thomas Bella. Cookie on the other track, but Michael's still clearly out in front. Let's go and pick that scene at third place and just follow our way through. Let's go forward a little bit. So no real danger yet. No one's fallen off. Oh, Michael's still out in front. No, somebody else has zipped ahead. Thomas Bella has skipped ahead now. Looks to be miles out in front. That's that marble without the name is Thomas. I've got them still following through. Thomas is a fair way out now. We're not seeing the... If I press off and then have a bit more of a look around, where is Thomas? Well, that's the finish line. So Thomas we're not going to see. Just got to watch for the marble. That's Sharky Mouth. Where is Thomas's marble? Oh, Thomas is coming second now. Not sure where Thomas ended up going. Sharky Mouth wins. Thomas Bella is now saying it's fourth, but where is he? Maybe I missed it completely. Oh no, finished fifth. Just not seeing the actual name, but there was an extra marble in there. Oh, Major Swifty's sort of coming in at the back end there now. Got a bit caught up. All these other guys are still way at the back. Will they even finish? Who knows? Here, if this yellow thing hits them, they are dead. Yep, so Began, Hugh David, Matthew Logan, all the guys that were leading at the front. There goes Paul. All the others are now going as well. Sebdos gets 0 points this run, even though he's winning the first one. All the others are gone. Maladroit is not going to make it, I don't think. Will he make it? Will he run away from this? Who knows? I would say not. Bang, no he didn't. Very, very close to getting the 1 point there. WK saying Majors 50 honestly doesn't pay after all. I'm going to start lying and cheating there. There we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, final result. There we are. Gee, there's a lot of did not finishes. A lot of did not finishes. So we go back to the Grand Prix settings. So Daily Grind on 20, Sebdos on 20. Who was the other winner there? That was 21 on Sharky Mouth. So Sharky Mouth is now leading. So he's now the leader coming into the last one. So we're looking at Sharky Mouth on 21. And then Sebdos on 20 and Daily Grind on 20. And there's still a lot of other people that can still win this as well. So, but they're our current leaders. Okay, good luck everyone. This is the last map. And we'll see who wins. So, and we'll see what happens here. Dom UK, Brian straight out in front. Whoa, there's lots of stuff happening through here. Who's in charge here? Dom UK, Wiggly. See what happens as we get a bit closer. This is a fairly long map, I think. It's down here. That will just slow things down. That's not going to really worry anyone. This one may explode and push people off. Oh, they're straight through there. Oh, they're okay. No one's fallen off yet, but there will be a time when they get down to there. No, they're not moving, actually. They're not moving either. I think it's just a race. Cool. Paul looks to be out in front now. Oh, this is where it's going to happen. This is where it's going to happen. So let's just see what happens when we get to this phase here. If we do. Maladroit and Serenity did actually make it to that big loop. Tails is in there as well, Wiggly. So they've bypassed the danger areas. They have bypassed the danger areas. Who's actually winning? It's hard to tell. Oh, Blowman and Hugh David have fallen off. Not even missing them. There's Cookie, who's made his way in. Oh, see you later, Grob. Sebdos is gone. So Sebdos can't win. So that's now 0 points for Sebdos. A lot of people losing this one. So we've got Wiggly. There's not very many left, is there? Legit Spoon. Thomas is gone. Major Swifty is gone. Legit Spoon is gone. God, who's still in the running here? Where is the winning point? Let's just go to one of these guys and just sort of see what's actually happening here. It's all very lonely. So this looks like it may be the. Let's go back to the first place. Yeah, no, let's just stay back in here somewhere and see what's going to happen at this point. Casting our way over here. Who knows what's going to happen there? It sort of went through some sort of loop. Then we've got Paul back over this way with a whole lot of others. I think Castanar is, your mate at Raven Desk is gone. Let's go back to Castanar. Is this the end? That's the finish line. Yeah, Castanar's out in front. So Castanar is doing well through here. Michael. Oh, no. Lewis blew up. Castanar's still going. Matt P. See you later. Bad luck. Castanar should be popping through here any second now. There he is. Bang! Castanar finishes. 20 points. Who's going to get the 15 points? It's Matthew Logan coming back through. It's anyone's game. Anyone's game. There we go. A lot of close finishes. Sharky Mouth got the 15 points. Well, that's settled it. We know who the winner is, guys. We know who the winner is. We assume we do anyway. You never really know, do you? Anything could still happen. Anyway, congratulations, guys. That was a good final run. Look at the final results there. So, yeah, Sharky Mouth back into there. If we have a look at the Grand Prix. Well, let's just finish it off. Let's just finish the Grand Prix and see who the winner is. It's Sharky Mouth, but don't tell anyone. Geezer's Own coming in third. Coming in second was Castanar. Okay, so good finishes in that last one. And there's Sharky Mouth out in front. We can look at the scores themselves. 36 points. Absolutely smashed it in the end there. So got some really good points there. Only got 1 point in the first round, 20 in the second round, and then 15 in the third round. So did very, very well. Castanar with 24 points, and then Geezer's Own on 21. So Sharky Mouth was on 21 going into this particular lead. Seb Doss only got the one win at the very, very start, and then didn't get any further from there. We had a couple of others on 20 there as well. Let's see if anyone got 0 points. Yes, we've got Bloyermond, Louise, and Serenity. Yeah, there we go. So that's where we ended up. So Sharky Mouth, what I'm going to do is I already have the game, Daz. Thank you. You don't want it. You don't want to give it to. Is there someone you wanted to give it to, like in your family or whatever? It's up to you. I'll still put in. It's up to you whether you want to claim it or not. If you don't claim it over the next couple of days, then of course I'll put it back into the prize pool. But if you can send me an email at daz@daztactic.com. So that's my email address. If you do decide to take it, I will then shoot it out to you. But yeah, that was a good little run there, Sharky Mouth. You did some good points at the back end of it. So anyway, guys, I do have to call it quits through here. So we'll leave it here, guys. So that was hope it wasn't too negative about Endless Legend 2. As I said before, I'm interested in it. I think it's a good game. Don't think it's a great game. Don't think it deserves the accolades that it's currently getting online. I don't think it's that good. But I do think that there are some things about it that are very, very good, and some things that are not great at all. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back. Well, I'll be back pretty much every day. But in terms of ChatTactic, it will be another week before we come back in for another giveaway. Looks like we'll be giving away Distant Worlds 2. Maybe if I've got some other giveaways as well, I might mix it up a little bit and do a different giveaway.